Oi. Shuba-duba-dai. This blessed country, O land of beauty, I pray for thee. Some people have that wrong philosophy that politicians can save a country. They never try and do it spiritually. And now the system exploding on we. The country in a recession, a big change from the old time religion. Mankind rewriting history in a modern but a bad version. We're living in our final days. Take a look and change your ways. For our beautiful country, going back to slavery days, only a prayer for the land can stop drug violence and crime. A prayer for the land, yes, these are the signs of the end of time. A prayer for the land, the price of living, man, is so high. A prayer for the land, that even the rich like the poor cry. You say you're concerned and care, we country living in fear, but all are we born right here. So let's say a prayer, the Almighty Father will hear. And I see, dear God, Shuba-duba-dai. Oh God Almighty, show some mercy on this our country. Moral standard gone way down the drain. Little children using rum, crack and cocaine. It seems like wicked-itions gone insane. And everyone playing the dirty game. Too much guns and drugs in the country, owned by Tom, Dick and Harry. But if you're wrong, you must pay for it, for the law. No one above it. Put an end to victimization, oppression, and segregation. It's not a good thing for this country, so let's try and wipe it out totally with a prayer for the land, of fire and brimstone go burn with it. A prayer for the land. Some say they're picking out who should get bail. A prayer for the land, and that's why the prisoners burn down the jail. A prayer for the land, one day it must prevail. Please don't let this country become an next Haiti. No peace, no unity. Bow down humbly, the Almighty will answer it. Oh yeah, boy. Shuba-duba-dai. Oh God Almighty, show some mercy on this our country. They now call we terror Paradise Island. No longer a country where peace abound. Yes, I used to boast about my land of beauty, the freest nation with democracy. But now we are the capital for drug pushers and money launderers. Shame and scandal is on we, take it state and it's universally. Some blame it on the politicians for the unstabilized conditions. We going from bad to worse. Our blessed country now cursed, but a prayer for the land will help us to live with other people. A prayer for the land, for that's why the nation in big trouble. A prayer for the land, united we stand, divided we fall. A prayer for the land, citizens answer your duty call. Righteousness exalts the nation. The most I hate poor man depression. So I'm calling on everyone to take a stand. Take it, listen to my song.
You're the Lord of the Lamb.
Did a bad over boy. Shuba duba die. What? This blessed country, oh land of beauty, I pray for thee.
Nice, nice. That's the sound of the man, Mighty Craig there, King Craig. I pray for the land, I pray for our beloved Federation of St. Kitts Nevis there. As we come to you this evening, the final month of the year, December 6th, 2023. As usual, I'm coming to you live and direct here from the Gaza in the Boogie Down Bronx. The temperature on this side is very cold. However, we're going to try and bring some life and some warmth into your rooms or wherever you're hanging this evening. I'm JefroyMorrishaw, and I'll be your host this evening. I should be joined in the not too distant future by the chairman of the NRP of Queen City there, Nevis, the man brother Carlisle Powell, along with his co-host on the Tell Me program, the man brother Kelvin Daly. We're going to be having some conversation about what's taking place there and our sister island of Queen City, Nevis. We're going to talk about the town hall that they had there in regards to the work to be done at the Vance Amory Airport. We're going to also be talking about the budget that is currently taking place on our sister island, Queen City, Nevis. But in the meantime and between time, I think I can drop another track and get myself organized here as I get ready to bring my boys in on the conversation. And this track I'm gonna drop, I just love it, you know. I didn't even realize that I been sharing the same life as guys like Gypsy and other Calypsonians out there. The struggle is real. So this one is called Born to Survive. I am a survivor. JefroyMorrishaw coming at you live and direct. Stand by for the man Gypsy. This one is called Born to Survive.
What can be worse than a 10-year-old on the cold beach of my arrow? With just the surf and the sand, a dream and a plan and no promise of tomorrow. Hungry belly cry, trouble wave bye-bye, and at that age you think life is cold. But there is nowhere to know, cause it never would show. It's all for this dungeon called the world. But I'm a born survivor. Hey, I can smile through all my adversities and laugh when their guns are trained at me, taking life one day at a time. Cause I'm sure as the night must bring the dawn, this life of mine would still go on, and who might know they connive in their web of strife. I'm staying alive. I'm born to survive.
You're the last of the alive.
There have been times gone by when I watch mama cry and I know daddy hurt inside. Though he worked like a man, did all that he can, but somehow he just couldn't provide all the things that we need, but somehow we succeed. Those were real trying times indeed. But then I couldn't understand that that was part of the plan that would make me a much stronger man. And I'm a born survivor, yes. I can smile through all my adversities and laugh when their guns are trained at me, taking life one day at a time. Cause I'm sure as the night must bring the dawn, this life of mine would still go on, and choose mine how they connive, spin their web of strife. I'm staying alive. I'm born to survive. Yes, I worked to the bone, felt so all alone in places I didn't know so well. Abuse and misuse, that was nothing I chose. Sure, those conditions felt like hell. But hard work do pay, now things are not that way. But success do breathe and be indeed. And although I've done the wrong, you should hear evil tongue wagging with envy to bring me down. But I'm a born survivor. I can smile through all my adversities. Brother, I laugh when your guns are trained at me, taking life one day at a time. Cause I'm sure as the night must bring the dawn, this life of mine must still go on. And in my home they connive, in their web of strife. I'm staying alive. I'm born to survive. I cannot hide, yes it hurts down inside, cause there's blood running through my vein. And when the things people say sharp gets in your way, and there's no truth, it causes you pain. And when the good that you do just never shine through, you wear a smile and you do some more. Cause although hate knows no bound, but love makes you strong, and for your good your reward is sure. And I'm a born survivor, yes. I can smile through all my adversities. Brother, I laugh when your guns are trained at me, taking life one day at a time. Cause I'm sure as the night must bring the dawn, this life of mine would still go on. And don't mind how they connive, spin their web of strife. I'm staying alive, watch me, I'm born to survive. Yes, I was born to survive. I was born, yes, I was born.
Yes, I was born to survive. That's what DJ Morrishaw has said. My cousin always tell me, Catherine Morrishaw, she said, Jeffroy, you was put on this earth for a purpose, and God is not ready for you as yet. So you're not going no place. I see Brother Daly is online early. Good to see that. I see Brother Carlisle is asking for the credentials. I think Carlisle should have the credentials from before. I mean, I never change them. I just keep them going. So Carlisle, I'm going to just hail up a few folks here and give you a few seconds to get online that we could get kicking. We have a lot to discuss this evening. Nevis is really in need of some attention there. We got a premier that ended that really does not understand. Either he don't understand or he just feel like he don't care. Whatever it is, we're going to have that conversation this evening. But before we get into the conversation, I just want to take the time out to thank my engineer there, the man Ike, for keeping this program alive for over 3 years and running. I also want to just say thanks to folks like Angela Doe that keep the live line here running at evenings. And my technicians there, my nephew there, brother Glenville Lawrence, thank you for your great job this week, getting those clips together, getting me organized. The man Kenrick Williams, thanks to you as well. You know, when you have dedicated technicians, you can't go wrong. So I just want to big up my boys that did their work this week. I also want to touch my boy, the Django, down there in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, the man Alvan Brown, Valina, Ali, good evening, how you doing? Livy Brown, sorry, Leroy Decent. Debasu, good evening, how you doing? How is Sister Anne and the grandbaby? I also want to, man, this screen is running, Brother Daly. You can tap your screen and open your mic, Brother Daly. This screen is loading up. I have some folks here. We ain't gonna be able to call everybody's name this evening, but I'll try to call a few. Gigi Williams, Skeet, welcome to the ride. Hilla Brown there in the Virgin Islands. Farrell, welcome to the ride. Loretta Clark Quilly, one also big up my girl, Loretta over there at Culturama Bar. Clayton Davis, good evening. Tamika Salid, good evening. Damian Quilly, good evening. Damian Jeffrey, good evening. Casima Jeffers, Yvette Powell, Joan Matthews, welcome to the ride. Marcia Smith over there in the BVI. Tartola Humtums, got to be exact. Good evening, how are you doing? Hope all is well with you. Petrina Ballot, how are you doing? My girl there in the St. Martin area. Chantel Penny Myers, how are you doing? I hope all is well with you. Sister Cora Bennett, my main supporter here, sponsor of the program. Thanks for your continued support, Sister Ann Farrell Smith. I would hope that all is well with you and your family and your N. Brother Daly, I know you say you don't have your device as yet to multitask when you're online with me, but there's a whole bunch of folks online saying good evening to you. So feel free to say hello to who you want to say hello to this evening.
All right. Well, Jeffrey, thank you for having me once again. And I do hope that Carlisle will be able to join us in this conversation. All those persons who normally support you and support 2020 Vision Radio on Target or on Tell Me, a special good evening to all of you. Joan Matthews, of course, Gigi Williams, Keith, Chef Jeffers Lewis. The list goes on and on. Shirley and Jeffers. It's just a bunch of good people who keep us on our toes, making sure that we consistently bring good information to them. And of course, they in turn will disseminate that information. So it's a good partnership, a good cooperation between us all.
Yeah, great, for sure. Also, I want to big up the white lady there. Good evening to Sister Annette Morton, Sister Hazel Claxton. Hope all is well with you. Naomi Ward, Naomi Butcher, Sister Joseph Buchanan there. Don't forget, I have to big up my baby girl. My baby girl is here hanging with Daddy at the moment. So I want to big up my baby girl for deciding to tell Mommy she wants to be with Daddy today. And Mommy could not stop that. She just came and jumped in the vehicle and it was out of there. So baby girl, welcome to the ride. Also want to big up Sister Beverly Morrishaw. I hope all is well with you and Sister Kia. I wonder what Gwyneth Morrishaw is up to. You know that lady have so much energy. For her size of her body, she move a whole house. When you got going, men don't want to walk around the place and do any work. So I just want to say good evening, Sister Gwyneth. My folks there in the Tobago area, Brother Victor Beard, Gloria Beard, Sister Melissa Beard, and my girl there, Sister Deborah Wallace, the missionary. My boy Roger Wallace, the man Janelle over there in Trinidad, and Chanel, good evening. Well, we have Brother Carlisle online. So Carlisle, could you tap your screen, open your mic? Everson Harris there in the Toronto area. Good evening, welcome to the ride. Gentlemen, I do not know where these people pop up from, but the screen here is loaded already. And I know they're anxiously waiting for our conversation. Gonna start with your brother Carlisle, and Daly would have to do the same. Just a quick synopsis of who we are speaking to, as you all know. And this program, it's growing by leap and bounds, and there are new online viewers come. I can see the new names online already. Comes weekly. So if you just give a quick synopsis of who you are, that folks will know who we are chatting with this evening.
Just a poor, humble, polite, almost at social security age fella from Nevis. I'm now, like Dr. Daly, enjoying my retirement. I do a little work now and then to make sure that I stay active. But I follow programs like yours to make sure that my mind stays sharp and alert. And we are going to get to the town hall meeting a little bit later. But just to tell people that I'm the chairman of the Nevis Reformation Party, a party that is very resurgent, which is on the upswing, and which is clearly the only party in Nevis which has a plan to take the people upwards, forwards, and at a steady pace.
Great. Brother Daly?
Yes, sir. It looks like I have to get a recording. Every time I come on here, I don't have to repeat myself so many times. But my name is Kelvin Daly, retired public servant, civil servant. My last engagement was as the president of the Clarence Fitzgerald Bryan College on St. Kitts. And then since then I've been retired. I'm a happy farmer, contributed to the Nevis Reformation Party and all these good people. And of course, we try to stay active on all the social media platforms that seek to enlighten our people as to what's happening here on Nevis and indeed on St. Kitts.
Great. Well, gentlemen, we've been having a lot of conversation about what's taking place on Nevis, and it appears as though that you guys and your program, like Carlisle Powell, Kelvin Daly, Tulu Weeks, Hensley Daniel, and the likes. We talk with things weekly and whatever, but the action that is required on the street, I'm not seeing that. But I got so much calls over the last couple of days from my program last week, thanking me for saying the things and calling the things as I see them. And they are telling me that you guys has been motivated and been doing a lot of groundwork, a lot of hard work down there. And I can say for a fact that I have seen you guys perform on Monday evening at that town hall meeting in regards to the Van Samuel Airport. But before I play a clip from Sister, the Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge at that meeting, I got a call this morning with someone very upset from Nevis. And they were telling me that they were at the time looking at the budget debate at the NIA Assembly. And what they're telling me really took me for, I must say, 360, that I had to drop what I'm doing and go online and look at it for myself. And I could not believe that during her presentation, during the Honorable Janice Daniel Hodge presentation, the leader of the NRP, during her presentation today in the NIA Assembly, she mentioned as part of a conversation, her debate, about what the Premier said, Premier Brantley said, not only in the National Assembly in St. Kitts, but he have said this at his conference, press conferences. He have said it on his weekly program on Van Radio. He has made it clear that what held up the geothermal process from going forward was a letter that he was waiting on from the then Prime Minister Timothy Harris, who he was a part of that immunity administration. He have boasted that since the Labour government under the leadership of Prime Minister Jew took office in 2022, Prime Minister Jew have signed that letter and sent it off to the CDB, where some whopping $17 million was approved for the geothermal project. Well, if he said this in Parliament in St. Kitts, I have the clips here. I got my receipts. He said it at press conferences and Nevis that he held. I got it here in clips. I have my receipts. He said it on his program on Van Radio. Why would the Premier Brantley, what sick person would interrupt Janice Daniel Hodge this morning during the debate when she repeat what he said, telling her, asking the chairperson of the parliament or the NIA assembly to ask her to withdraw her statement because she don't have any proof. I want to hear your guys' side of this, because at this point, I cannot talk about these things, this particular matter. I cannot really get into the cussing a couple of bad words there, and this is not the place for it. So I'm going to let you gentlemen who have a better control, self-control over anger, to speak to the people, because I am pissed.
I'm going to ask Dr. Daly, please, to allow me to go first. Dr. Daly, as somebody who was in the parliament for 11 years, please let me go first.
No problem, brother. No problem.
Okay. Here is my take on that matter. And I want to commend Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge for a very solid presentation today in the parliament. She was cool, calm, effective, deliberate, and broke down the nonsense that we had to listen to for 2 hours and 20 minutes coming from Premier Mark Brantley. Just a regurgitation of things which had been in previous budgets, time and time again. Let us go straight to the letter. Mark Brantley interrupted the response from Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge on 2 counts. 1, a letter which he said she did not have a copy of, which she was referring to. And again, this has to do with the inexperience of the president of the Nevis Island Assembly. Because the president of the assembly ought to have known that this letter had been referenced in press conferences, in radio addresses, in the parliament in St. Kitts. It is on public record. So that was no secret. How the hell they expected Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge to get a copy of the letter, I don't know. That is a letter that was written and signed by Dr. Drew to the Caribbean Development Bank. Mark Brantley has not responded to any letters written by Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge. If he has not responded to letters, and that is where he should have called her out today, because she made reference to a letter that she wrote and gave a date and said he had not responded. He sat down and listened to that. But a letter which he has spoken about on numerous occasions. When Dr. Janice Daniel had spoke about it, he jumped up and said if she does not have a copy of the letter, then she shouldn't speak about it. How will she get a copy of the letter? And the speaker, in her inexperience, asked Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge to produce the letter. She didn't have it, she retracted. What would I have done in Parliament? Having had the experience of 11 years, I would have referenced the federal parliament, where he spoke about it numerous times. I would have referenced his press conferences, and I would have referenced his radio shows. And if the speaker, the president, insisted that I withdraw, I would have refused to withdraw the statement. Let her expel me from the parliament, because I could not produce a letter which nobody has a copy of. Mark Brantley has not said that he has a copy of the letter given to him by Dr. Drew. He has not said it was copied. So how would Janice, who he refused to recognize as the leader of the opposition, get a copy of the letter? The second point that Mark Brantley raised was the fact that Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge said that he said that geothermal was near completion. Well, listen, I have a copy of a tape, and I put it up in my status, in my WhatsApp status. I have a copy of a tape of Mark Brantley making a presentation in the United Kingdom, 2017. And in that, he referenced no less than 3 times solar energy, waste to energy, geothermal energy, and that Nevis would be the greenest place in the entire earth, 100% dependent on renewable energy by 2018. Well, how was Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge wrong if she said that Mark Brantley, the premier, had promised that geothermal would be with us all now? He said we would have it by 2018. I have a copy of the clip here on my phone. Why was Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge wrong? She withdrew because she's a decent lady and she didn't have a copy of the letter. I am afraid that if I were in Parliament today, it would not have been like that. I would have referenced all of that and I would have said, Madam President, you see this phone? I have a clip on the phone of the Premier in London. Let him refute that that is not his image. Let him refute that that is not his voice. Let the President tell me that is not allowed in the Parliament. You know what I would have done? I would have asked for an adjournment. An adjournment so that the President could play the tape, listen to the tape, and tell Mark Brantley, listen, you are not allowed to make that request that you withdraw the statement. Because Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge was right, perfectly right. And Mark Brantley was afraid that she would remind the people of Nevis that this man is a compulsive liar. That is all that she was afraid of. Sorry I took up so long, Dr. Daly. Over to you.
No, I mean, I'm rather enjoying the conversation and listening for a change. It is clear that he was under tremendous pressure in the Parliament brought on by Dr. Hodge. As she would have pointed out on numerous occasions, the auditor's report, which basically told the people of Nevis that while he's spouting one thing in his parliamentary address on the budget, his actions in his own ministry are complete opposite. So he was under tremendous pressure. He was under stress. So he had to interrupt her at the earliest to try to break her stride. And that's all he was trying to do, to break her stride. You understand?
You're my close brother Daly. You tap your phone, you tap your screen. Yeah, it's open.
With what we don't you must know that we have him on tape talking about the fact that the funding for geothermal was close to completion with Nevis Renewable Energy International. He knows that we have it on tape talking in the UK, talking on all kind of media about the closeness at which they're going to throw the switch. So she was absolutely right. But again, this is a difficulty I have, Jeffrey, and I've said it publicly. The Speaker of the House should not be the Speaker of the House. Not because of her experience, but because she's liable to err on the side of the Premier. And that is exactly what was demonstrated today. She answers to him in his law firm, and then he answers to her in the Parliament. Well, what do you think is going to happen? This is not rocket science. It is clear. There's a conflict of interest here that cannot be understated. It is clear that she is out of her depth in trying to correct the Premier when it comes to this matter where Carlisle just described. And so the Premier had the occasion to break the stride of our party leader. He attempted to do that. It did not succeed. She apologized and moved on. I, like Carlisle, would have had to protest that. But being a gentle soul like she is, she's going to say, listen, there's no skin in this game. Let's move on. For the benefit of the people, let's move on. And so, you know, that is what it is. But it was a distraction to break her condemnation of his indiscipline as the Minister for Finance and the Premier's ministry for spending more than they were allowed to spend in the last dispensation.
Gentlemen, you know what the situation is here. The more that I try to think about Premier Brantley and giving him the benefit of the doubt in everything, the more he gives me reason to reconsider. Because I was thinking this is the holiday season, Sugar Mass coming. Let's ease up on what's going on and have some fun for the season and keep my eyes open into the new year. But all Premier Brantley put me to the partner is work. Because now I have to go and put all of these clips together and put them on my profile to let people know all of this bullshit that is going on. Because there was no need for him to interrupt Janice today objecting to something that he knows is a fact. I would like to know, and I will make it my business. I'm going to put this clip together and make it my business that the Prime Minister and the Attorney General get a copy of them. So they can't tell me they never hear this nonsense, right? I am going to make it my business. Put these clips together and ensure that they hear them. Because when we go to our federal parliament, we must know the snake and the scumbags that we have in there. They are more criminals than the little boys on the street that committing a little thief in here and there. These lies that I'm getting from the premier is more dangerous than the little boys that are running in the street thieving a little thing off the counter, off the shop counter, off the shelf. Millions of dollars that is involved, billions of dollars involved in what taking place to the people of Nevis. We spoke about it last week when we were talking about during COVID. Our Premier Brantley was able to bring someone into Nevis, claiming that they're going to make movies and new prospect for Nevis. While the people of Nevis was suffering, can't pay their light bill, can't pay their water bill, we cannot get funds to do anything. Pay them a whopping $150,000 a month. US. While the people of Nevis and St. Kitts suffer. And now, we are here, what we are dealing with. Gentlemen, the situation is, I only get caught up in this politics business in 2020. And God knows, I'm trying to wheel myself out of it. But with this bullshit that's going on today in the NIA, how am I going to walk away from these things? I cannot see wrong and walk away from wrong. Not when politicians are doing it. I could take the regular citizen trying to hustle. But not when these folks are in parliament making laws to lock down our poor people. And they're committing more crime than them. I have a problem with that. A serious problem with that. So
you see, Jeffrey, when you're in the parliament, you have immunity from language. You can tell as much lies as you want, you can't be sued, you can't be prosecuted for them. You have immunity in parliament. And so he feels empowered to say and deny whatever he feels he needs to say and deny to make himself look good. But I believe, in the eyes of the people of Nevis who look at his behavior and know for a fact what he was saying all this time about the letter that Dr. Drew signed, that Dr. Harris did not sign. He's on multiple records saying it. But for him to get up in parliament, I believe it diminished him even further because it was such a blatant miscarriage of the truth. Because everybody knows he was saying it. And for him to get up in parliament, in people's house, where you're supposed to be trying to deal with the people's business on the most, you should say, erudite and honest way possible, he gets up and tells a whopper. I mean, I don't see him coming out of this looking good. I see him coming out of it looking sullied and dirty.
Out of that situation today, what Premier Brantley did today, shutting down Janice, repeating his statements in records that he was waiting for the former Prime Minister who was a part of his government, the Team Unity Administration, comprised of the People's Action Movement, PAM, led by Sean, the CCM, Concerned Citizen Movements, led by Mark Brantley, and the People's Labour Party, led by the former Prime Minister, Timothy Harris. He is telling, and he was telling the public during Parliament in St. Kitts not too long ago, and his press conference not too long ago, and his radio program and van not too long ago, that what was holding up the process going forward for the geothermal was a letter that the former Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, his best friend, that he said was the best Prime Minister ever, refused to sign. And following the 2022 August 5th election, when Dr. Joe became Prime Minister, he quickly had a conversation with Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe quickly had that letter signed and sent off to the CDB. And as a result of that, the funds was approved by the CDB in December of 2022, and the geothermal drilling process. Partner, he's the one that said it. So why are you objecting to the Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hatch to repeat what you said?
But Jeffrey, understand something. How would the public would have known that he had asked Dr. Harris to sign this letter? He never indicated that during his tenure as a cabinet minister. He never told Nevis and the persons who sent him down to Church Street that he was having a difficulty with Dr. Harris signing this letter. We only learned of this letter after he was fired, after Unity disintegrated. So for him now to say that, you know, Dr. Harris did not sign and all this, like Carlisle said, how was it? How is Janice supposed to get a copy of the letter? Really and truly. And again, it speaks to, again, my concern that the Speaker of the House is biased. Because, like Carlisle said again, she should have known that this was out there in the general public. She should have known that this was discussed on multiple domains, on multiple platforms. And to act accordingly, say, Mr. Premier, you need to sit down. You need to sit down because you are on record, not in the House by way of letter, as you were asking, but because you are making public pronouncements on this matter and rule against him and tell him to sit down and shut his blasted mouth. That's what she should have done.
Gentlemen, I look at today as the final straw. The people of Nevis need to demand Mark's Premier Brantley recognition from being Premier. He's not qualified. He should not be. He does not have, his credibility is lost.
He's not fit.
He's not fit, neither physically or mentally. He should be recalled, and the people of Nevis need to hit the streets and demand his removal. Not only his removal, that lady, whoever, whether she is Speaker of the House, whatever you all call them, President, Vice, she needs to go. That's a very, very serious error there when she allowed that situation today. This is not a family thing down there where just a few people in Nevis supposed to eat. The people of Nevis are crying out. And for the life of me, for the life of me, I keep saying it, gentlemen. And Brother Daly, I must congratulate you publicly on that piece you put out last week. You have outlined a synopsis of everything, most things that is taking place in Nevis, what Premier Brantley and the CCM party is doing. And if the people of Nevis cannot rise up after that piece and say, man, this is enough, they got a serious problem, And the part that really got to my stomach today, that made me actually sick. What made me sick is that it's not only Premier Brantley doing the wrong, not only Premier Brantley, he got a group of people around him, Deputy Premier, Mr. Brand, and other people there who knows what Janice is talking about in regards to this letter is factual. And they say nothing. They stay quiet. They care more about Premier Brantley than the people of Nevis. Didn't they take an oath to represent the people of Nevis and the island of Nevis? So all of them need to go. This is time to make the step to get rid of all of them. I keep saying it, gentlemen. 2024 is the election I'm looking for, And I got the idea of how we should be done, We don't have to go throwing a stone and pulling a gun and busting nobody's head, We have enough information, enough violation of our constitution, of our parliament and everything else to get rid of them, We just have to sit down and put it together and do what? Execute the process, Plan and execute. I am coming to St. Kitts for Sugar Mass, but it's not going to be Sugar Mass for me, It's going to be Queen City Mass. Because I going to do whatever I can. I will be doing whatever I can to get the people mobilized. Premier Brantley and his team have to go. Today was the straw that broke the camel back for me. I had enough of that lies. Another thing, Brother Daly, I'm going to, when I have a clip of you from the meeting I'm going to play. But let's move on to you all sure that was a town hall meeting or whatever, what you all call it, Monday night, what that was?
A waste of time.
That is what it is. That is what it is. Because I don't understand what happened Monday night. When I got the link from your brother Carlisle, I was happy that I could be a part of it. I listened and I listened and I listened again to the disappointment. I hope I don't have ulcer after listening to these guys talking, because I actually get sick when I listen to these guys and the nonsense they're saying. Understand? We have qualified people in the Federation We got qualified nationals in the diaspora that can do these things. But you bring in someone can't even relate with the language barrier to tell us what. Brother Daly is asking about the procurement process. And my partner, Brother Alexis, is telling Brother Daly, forget about the procurement process. You should be happy to trust your government to make a decision and pick who they want. Forget about the procurement process. But there's an issue in the NIA in terms of the leader of the opposition. And they want to hold fast to the Constitution that Sister Janice Daniel Hodge should not be seated as the leader of the opposition because of the Constitution. But it's okay for them to violate the procurement process. A serious matter, and we must forget it. Well, gentlemen, I ain't forgetting it. So let's take a listen to Sister Janice Daniel Hodge. Tonight, I got to apologize to you all up front. If you all see me going now, feel free to pull me back because I'm pissed off tonight. Right? So let's take a listen.
Good evening. My name is Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge. I'm also a development consultant here on Nevis. I have a few questions. One, just wondering whether or not a feasibility study was done to determine that what is being proposed is actually the best option for this airport here in Nevis. The second question, based on the question that was just asked by Mr. Yarwood, and the attempted response provided by the advisor, the question is asked whether or not NASPA is playing a role and who are the consultants advising. Is it NASPA or the NIA? Third question has to do with the scope of work that is being undertaken by the consultants and what are the expected deliverables or outcome from this phase of work. And is it possible to indicate what would be the outcome at the various phases or various stages of the project until we have what is envisioned by you but not necessarily presented to the public at this time? The last question I have has to do with the proposed expansion of the airport. It would have been useful to understand exactly what impact is going to happen in the area of Hurricane Hill and Lovers Beach, and also with regard to the fishers who occupy an area there. I think based on discussion with a number of constituents in the area, at this early time before the design gets to be well advanced, persons are interested in knowing whether or not their properties would be impacted. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. And I believe some questions were asked and mixed up with some other questions, but let me start from the bottom up. In terms of the fisher folks in the area, we don't have any intention of moving the fisher folks from where they are. So that landing site that currently exists there in Newcastle will remain. What will happen is that you'll have access to it from either the top or the bottom of the runway. I did indicate from the get-go that the island's main road will be diverted. So part of the diversion is that we'll have an access road at the back or the western end of the runway that connects to that same road that goes up beyond Drift and up to Newcastle Bay Marina. Some revetment work will be done somewhere there. There's a drainage area just in the vicinity of the old pier so that the road will continue beyond. So that would be one access, and then from the top, the eastern end, there'll be access back to the landing site. So the livelihood of those fishermen will not be impacted, just that they would have
instead of walking as they do now in the vicinity of Sausage and the end of the eastern end of the runway, they'll now access either way. Yeah? So that is for the fishermen, they'll remain. In terms of the feasibility study, we have looked at some options that were presented to us by the Paris team. There are a couple of options that were presented, and we looked at them and determined that what we are planning on doing is the most suitable way forward for the expansion process. And I believe you have asked about feasibility study. You're looking at the economics, I'm sure. You're looking at what can unfold from that. I will think that it's a no-brainer in a sense when it comes to that, based on what they have done in terms of the initial objectives that we were seeking to accomplish based on their studies. So there was some work done in that regard, and we have looked at it, and as a matter of fact, it can be simply put this way. If the airport doesn't expand, any residual return or any return from the airport won't happen. It's not happening now, but we are certain that with any expansion and upgrade, there will be returns, revenue, work, and all of the other things that flow from such expansion. So the feasibility study, I believe, based on the objectives that were outlined to our consultants and the discussions we've had, that have determined, give us at least some idea as to where we're going and what we can realize. In terms of deliverables as you go along, yes, of course, there'll be deliverables. During the construction phase, we'll always have return to all those who will be involved in the overall construction and upgrade of the airport. All of the truck owners, those are deliverables. They will be able to make monies. Operators of backhoes, trucks, and the likes, all of that. Those who are involved in any technical aspect, for example, surveyors, whomever, all those are deliverables out of this project. And I don't know if there's any way one can quantify it in terms of numbers per se, but I do believe that it is one that can realize substantial return to the island of Nevis. In terms of Hurricane Hill, we have already looked at the Hurricane Hill scenario in terms of the removal of Hurricane Hill, and based on the preliminary cost that we were looking at, it was in the region of about $10 million to take it all down to the level where it should come, so that that obstruction is removed. And based on that, it was just the budget that we have working with. So we figured that in the overall scope of things, there will be a master plan in place that will guide us into the future, so that we can say whatever amount of years from now we can revisit and say whether it is a good thing to do at that point in time, or whether it's something that will never happen. But it is an overwhelming task to bring that hill down, and to actually the cost associated with it at this point in time is one that we're not in a position to undertake. You asked something else. I think you asked about the usefulness of the expansion. Am I correct? The usefulness of the expansion or something of that sort?
I did not ask, and the question really is, in what capacity are you responding to these questions? The question remains, the NASPA technocrats, is there a reason why they are not involved in this presentation at this
Well,
time?
NASPA has been involved all steps of the way in terms of consulting with the consultants, consulting with them, having discussions, providing data.
Gentlemen, I don't know if you guys hearing what I'm hearing, eh? Carla, your mic closed. I don't know if you guys hearing what I'm hearing. Tap your screen, tap your mic. Open, it's open. The amount of bullshit I'm hearing from this gentleman, Alexis Jeffers. I mean, the people of Nevis have to be sleeping. if what he just says there, his response is, if they accept anything. And even in your sleep, them bullshit is unacceptable. When I'm having a bad dream, I wake up. Right? When I'm having a bad dream, I wake up. And if these people have been paid, as you all said, how much, 10,000 or whatever a month for this bullshit, then the people of Nevis need to get back their money. You know? And I'm talking from a position of knowledge. I'm not just talking just for talking's sake. I have done the work, so I can talk about it now. Questions were asked at this event. The Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge asked the right questions, appropriate questions. Up until now, was a feasible study done? Any, you all here respond to that yet?
I'll let Carlisle go.
DJ Morrishaw, perhaps I should have told people that I managed the very same airport for 20 years, 1986 to 2006. I was fortunate enough to get some training from the Canadians. And so I did stints at a couple of airports in Canada. Winnipeg International, a smaller airport, Lepo. And I saw some construction, but I'm not going there. I want to bring you back to 1991, when we were in the process of extending the runway and putting up the fire hall. I was the airport manager at that time. You know who introduced me to the drawings? The director of physical planning. At that time, a gentleman who I have the greatest regard and respect for, by the name of Oral Martin. He introduced me to the drawing and to the 4 options. And there was a team that sat down and went through this. And I will take you to 1992, when CCM came into office. Sim Daniel, of late and blessed memory, first premier of Nevis, when he lost office in 1992, we did an interview many years later in 2006, and he read his exit speech into the records. One of the things that he said is that funds are in place for the extension of the runway. There were 4 options, and we have chosen one. Alexis Jeffers, by the way, wrong messenger, has absolutely no knowledge about airports, but he was the messenger who was there purporting to answer technical questions. He could not answer any of the technical questions posed by Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, who is an expert in the field, by myself, by Dr. Daly, and we had a senior person in airports, Mr. Jones, who all posed technical questions. Alexis could not answer any of the questions. Wrong messenger, wrong mouthpiece. He should not be fronting this project because he don't know his ass from his elbow. Simple as that. With respect to the airport, he said he has been on the project since 2015. And a pertinent question was asked, what is the role of NASPA? He said that NASPA had been involved. Well, it must be at the board level, because I have spoken to some technical people at NASPA, and they said that none of them. I said, guys, I didn't see you at the town hall meeting. They said, no, because we have not been consulted. So if Alexis is saying that they have been consulted, and the technical people are saying that they were not consulted, I prefer to believe the technical people. This airport extension and what we are doing, where we are now, these people apparently have almost decided on the final drawings and final plans, and are now coming to say that they have consulted the people. We will not be able to change much, because they have already decided what they want to do. And to tell me that Alexis is the man fronting on this, disaster. Look at Dr. Daly's question. What about tendering? Who tell you that Perez is the best for this job? Oh, Perez work in St. Vincent, he work in Panama, he work in heaven. The only place he didn't work is down in hell. But he has done excellent work. That is not the question. The question is about tendering. Why is it we have not followed the tendering process? I don't care where Mr. Perez has worked. I do not care what the quality of his work is. That is not the question. The question is that in our system, we are supposed to put these things out to tender. Why have you not put it out to tender? How is it that we know that Perez is the best at the best price and will be able to deliver the product to the people of Nevis? Trust us, because we're not going to spend your money bad. Well, listen, I wouldn't trust CCM and any of the members of CCM behind a time leave. You know them time, I know you cook, DJ Morrishaw, and you know the time leave small. I wouldn't trust them behind a time leave. These are people who have run up a debt of about $500 million, who have spent the $500 million they got from Syncits, along with another one, say about $700 million from here in Nevis, from our taxes. And they can't tell us how they spend the money. But you're telling me we must trust them? I don't. And I make no apologies for saying that I don't trust them. It's the worst government we have had in the history of Nevis. They are telling people, listen, we broke. No increments for civil servants. No trips abroad. Not only that, if a position becomes available, we're not filling it because we broke. We're not hiring any new people. And then you hire Alexis at over $100,000. You hire Latoya at about $100,000. And you want me to trust you? They say no new positions, but you heard Alexis? Alexis said that they are going to be hiring a public relations officer to the project, the airport extension project. You want to bet that that is another $100,000? What about the fella Manos who they hired? Who was going around with CCM, was the mouthpiece down in the Virgin Islands as the PRO of the party. And after he grumbled and was a little bit uneasy and making them uncomfortable, Assistant Secretary, Ministry of Communications and Works. Is that not a new hire? Boy, listen, Dr. Morrishaw, I did in fact mute my mic because the kind of things are running through my head, I don't want them to come from thought into words and go on the system. Because what we were subjected to down at the town hall meeting, and they say more to come. I hope that they are better organized. I hope that they get somebody who understands the aviation and airports and management up there to front the thing for them. And I also hope that they bring some honesty and some decency, because we wasted our time with that foolishness that they had.
You know, I have some serious concern with Powell and Brother Daly, because I hear the question that Dr. Janice Daniel had asked about deliverables. And I'm pretty sure when she used that word, that terminology, she was not speaking about truck drivers, right? But this is what the advisor understands. And we really need to make sure that we have people in positions that understand. You know, if they had someone that went to the Virgin Islands, they should have questioned, and I think Janice was down there during that time in the 80s, when a whole hill was taken down in the Virgin Island in St. Thomas to create the new runway for the airport in St. Thomas. I don't know if you guys have been there prior or you've been there now, but that runway, that entire runway there in the Charlotte Amalie, that is a hill that they take and put into the water. That terminal down there, that was seawater, right? That was done in the 80s. So I really don't understand what I was hearing in that meeting. It was chaos. I heard Brother Alexis said he thought about canceling the meeting. He would have been better off canceling that meeting.
I agree.
You know, he would have been better off postponing that meeting, because the chaos that he brings there is clear that he does not have a clue what is required of him in that position. The people that should be leading that conversation, as you said earlier, it should be NEVLEC, CASPA, NASPA, and whoever else qualified in those quantities are quantified. I know you guys like to use a big word, Mr. Daly, in these regards. But I would hope that after that meeting, I saw the premier sitting up front, and I'm pretty sure had the meeting gone well, he would have got up and make a big presentation and maybe took some pictures. But they all walk out of that meeting quiet as a lamb.
Well, if you come to the meeting, if you come to a meeting of that importance, in flip-flops and old sweatpants and an old shirt, it tells you the seriousness at which you regard the meeting in the first instance. But the question of deliverables, it was totally embarrassing that you have a minister or former minister who was former deputy premier of Nevis, who does not understand what a deliverable is. My God. I mean, it's embarrassing that you're up there carrying this thing live on Facebook, on YouTube. The world is watching. And as an individual and as a black man, I was embarrassed. I mean, I sat there and I shook my head and I said, my God, I know this guy was, slow. But if you're at that level of government, where you become a senior minister of government, responsible for an entire Ministry of Housing and Land and Agriculture, Fisheries and all that, and you don't know what a deliverable is, then you should not be anywhere near this project. Because if you were asked a question by, say, a British reporter, you'll be totally embarrassed. You bring the country into disrepute. You bring your office into disrepute. We're going to ask you, well, what are the deliverables from this project? You're going to say, well, we hired some trucks and some backhoe. I mean, how daft can you get? How daft can you get with this? And the feasibility study, there was none. The feasibility study would have determined whether indeed this expansion work is value for money. Because they're building this thing like the movie Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come. What assurances does the people of Nevis have that once they spend and are responsible for $26 million of a loan, that they can recoup that money without going bankrupt or forcing the government to use revenues to pay for it? Because the idea is that revenue generated from the activities at the airport can sustain the payment to the owners of the airport. There's no guarantee of that. Building an airstrip doesn't mean planes are going to suddenly start landing. It doesn't work like that. If you look at St. Bart's, for example, St. Bart's doesn't have an airstrip longer than Nevis, but yet every year they're packed because people fly in their jets to St. Martin and ferry over or use a light plane over so they can enjoy the ambience and whatever it is St. Bart's has to offer. So it doesn't mean that they have a long airport, people are going to suddenly flock to you. It doesn't mean that at all. And the question remains very, very important. Where are your feasibility studies? Who conducted them? What consultation delivered the verdict that yes, proceed because we have the figures to justify this $70 million EC project? It never happened. It's a wing and a prayer that's going on because it's like a Hail Mary pass in football. You throw the ball as far down to the end zone hoping somebody catch it. Because like they were saying, if you do not do anything, the airport will continue to decline. No, that's not necessarily so. But Janice was trying to determine what is the best option to make sure the hotel doesn't decline any further. And they failed to answer the question.
I wonder if these folks understand. If you're a fisherman and you want to go fishing, you got to build the boat, make sure that it's seaworthy before you put the engine on it, You think they understand that?
Well,
because it appears that Alexis Jeffers is swimming with the engine on his back, hoping that somebody will bring a boat.
DJ Morrishaw, let me tell you what happened. The premier of Nevis, when he recognized and sadly for him, found out that he had lost St. James's for the first time in 30-odd years. He was forced now to try to save face. And how do you save face? Alexis, make him relevant. How do you make him relevant? Make him an advisor. But more than that, make him responsible for something in St. James. What did he do when he was minister with responsibility for St. James? He was deputy premier and acted as premier on many occasions. What did he do? Mount Lily, Carbo and them fellows up there, Westbury, Fountain, they have better roads. They promised them for 11 years. It didn't deliver. But all of a sudden, we are going to do the airport. Let us make Alexis the man for the airport. So he's going to be in the know. His name is going to be called. And he's going to be relevant. Because we cannot allow Janice to be over there uncontested. What they are doing to Alexis is killing him. If I were Alexis, I would tell them, listen, after that town hall meeting and the beating that he took and the way he showed up himself to be clueless when it comes to the matter of airport and technical questions, I would have, if I were Alexis, I would tell them, boy, pull me back. Pull me back. Do not let me front this anymore. Let the airport manager go up in front. Let us involve the director of planning. Let the director of planning come and answer those technical questions. Let us get somebody who can speak English so that they can look at the slides and tell the people what is on the slides. But for God's sake, don't bother to put Alexis up there again. It don't make sense. The premier is trying to keep him relevant, but that ship has sailed. Alexis has been thrown overboard by the people of St. James's. They have no use for him. That is the whole problem. You're trying to make the irrelevant relevant.
You know, as I listen to you guys and I reflect, and like I said, 40-something years into the construction business as an electrician, 20 plus, almost 30 years in the hospital system, the healthcare system, reading plans, being a part of the construction and the preparation and preparedness, design, and doing whatever research necessary to do the best option. I am aware that a project of this magnitude, as Brother Daly spoke about it, if they have these ideas, you put out your procurement process, asking people to submit bids and plans for what you want. You tell them what you need. And you have some little samples to show people what it is. But when you're going to come to a town hall meeting like that, you don't have anything. And there's no one that can speak the language to explain what is to be done. And a simple question of what's the budget you're looking at? They don't know.
I was
After
shocked.
all this time,
I was shocked by his
from
answer.
2015 to now, you don't know what budget you're looking to spend to renovate the airport?
I was taken aback by the answer because the hacked documents that we were seeing a year or two ago indicated the exact amount. It was supposed to be, the NIA had basically agreed to borrow $26 million to finance this project. And so for him to say he doesn't know how much, it's a blatant lie, because you have contracted a consultant out of your pockets. You're paying for the consultancy. You're paying for them to supervise the construction of the airport. That's 2 hits. You are in need of, you're sent out letters to acquire or seek agreement to purchase properties in the area on all sides, and you still don't have a budget. You still don't know how much you're looking to spend. I mean, the blatancy of these lies is upsetting, because you're talking to intelligent people. We are not dumbs. We are not dum-dums. We can figure things out, all right? And these guys are simply out of their depth. They're out of ideas. They don't know what to do. And so, it's easy to throw a man like Alexis under the bus because he's so dumb to know any different. He's trying to hold on to something that has long sailed and left them behind. The people who have spoken in St. James, 30 years, they held on to the seat and they lost it. They need to get over it. We are paying this man $116,000 a year. To do what? To do what? Well, you can't give your nurses an increment. You have frozen increments. There are frozen positions in place. But you're finding $116,000 to pay a man who doesn't know anything about what he's saying or doing. He doesn't understand what a deliverable is. He thinks a deliverable is a truck and backhoe. My God, what are we getting? What kind of square pegs and round holes are we getting from this government? It's embarrassing that these people call themselves ministers and advisors. Who the hell are they advising? They couldn't advise a primary school. You know, and it's upsetting, you know, that we are tolerating this level of incompetence from a government. And you look around, none better than none. Look at the entire cabinet. Look at the entire cabinet. Who in there better than anybody else? Can you imagine Troy Libert is a minister of government? Can you imagine Troy Libert being a minister of government? On what planet? On what universe? On what solar system is this guy supposed to be a minister of government? Huh? Nowhere in the universe should this guy be a minister of government. Total incompetence from top to bottom. So none can lead none. None can correct none. So when Brantley got up in Parliament, and you made reference to it, none of the other ministers could say anything because they owe their very existence to him. Because without him, they cannot exist. There's nothing to exist them. There's nothing for them to hold on to. There's no room in normal society for people like that. Because they've shown the level of incompetence they have. So they have to hang on as much as they can to the coattails of Brantley and exist.
Let me give you a classic. I asked the question about costs. How much is it going to cost? And they did not know. But Perez had already been contracted. Perez Engineering Limited had already been contracted. Let's read 55, a section of paragraph 55 of the budget. This budget was printed at least a week ago. It was presented in Parliament the day after the night of the town hall meeting. Nothing in this changed from the night to the next day when the Premier presented it. So let's go to 55. I am pleased to report that we have signed a contract with the engineering and design firm Perez Engineering Limited to provide professional services for the airport expansion, reconstruction and design, along with construction supervision for the proposed works to be undertaken at the airport. We have made adequate provisions in the budget for the funding of phase 1 of this work, which will involve the consultation and design phase of the airport. It's in the budget. I'm not making up any lies on the man. So he know at least that a figure had been inserted in the estimates. Well, what was so hard in saying, listen, we don't have the total cost yet for the overall works, but at least I can tell you we signed a contract with Perez Consulting and Engineering, and that it is going to cost $400,000. And that is the figure that we have in the budget so far. No, they had to lie. They had to say we have no numbers. But DJ Morrishaw, if I send you out and I tell you, listen, I need breakfast, tell me how much breakfast costs. And I call you the night before and I say, DJ Morrishaw, how much for my breakfast tomorrow? You say, boy, I ain't do the breakfast yet. But at least I've bought an egg and a slice of cheese. You can't tell me how much that costs along? So I have an idea? No, they say no. But you know what came out in this as well? We thought that Perez was only designing and consulting. Paragraph 55 said no, Perez will also be paid during the construction. They seem to me as if they are going to be the construction managers because it says construction supervision. So they will design, they will consult, and they will supervise the construction. This is a whole set of things they have already agreed with Perez Consulting. So how much did that cost? Tell the people of Nevis how much that will cost us. Why was it not put out to tender? When I was at the airport, when we did the terminal building and so on, Lashley from Barbados were the consultants. but it went out to tender. People had a chance to tender on the project. In terms of the construction works, there were 3 different people who put in bids to build the airport terminal building. In this case, this is a closely guarded secret. Nevis seemed to belong to Brantley and his family and company. So nobody must know anything. We must pay our taxes. Don't ask no questions. Just pay your taxes and then trust them to spend the money. I'm sorry, I can't follow that.
You know what is amazing though? You just spoke about contract. A question was asked by someone about contract. And Alexis said that no contract has been signed. He said an MOU. A memorandum of understanding was signed. There is no contract. So if they're not satisfied, they can just end it. I don't know if you guys picked that up during your meeting, but that was said.
Yeah, you believe that?
No, but I'm just saying it was said. You guys was at the meeting. That's what I heard.
Whereas consulting is a global forum. They would have probably a good legal team to make sure whatever agreements they get themselves into is ironclad, right? So them going on the basis is an MOU where anybody can walk away at any time. It's nonsense. It's absolutely wrong.
But that's what Alexis said.
Well, he don't know any better. He don't know different to the MOU in a contract anyhow. He wouldn't know that. If he don't know he think deliverable is a truck, then we expect him to understand about the difference between the MOU and a contract. There's a contract. There's an agreement signed. They have it on tape, where he was at the legal department with the legal advisor, the chief permanent secretary, principal secretary, and the people from Perez signing the document, right, regarding the consultancy. So what is that? The MOU at the point? That's not MOU. That's an agreement. It's a legal document you can take to the court, take to the bank. And so based on what is contained here, I'm asking for advance of $100,000 because I'm committed to this government for this amount of money. That's a legal document. It's bankable. It is bankable. So for them to say it's a MOU, it's insulting, further insulting, actually.
Well, actually, one part of that budget address, there, Brother Carlisle, is that you see that area you spoke about, the person that designed, managed the project and supervise it?
Yes.
That is exactly the way a project should be done of this magnitude.
Come to the hospital.
Wait, partner, that's where I'm heading. I'm heading to that road. This is where I'm concerned and confused at the same time. And there's some other words I could use, but I don't think it'll be appropriate this evening to use them. But you have, from what I understand, an individual who is sitting in the Nevis Island Assembly, who was the persons that designed the new hospital wing at the Alexandra Hospital. And during the construction, according to the Premier, the contractors asked for quantity surveys to be done before they can go any further with the construction. Well, who should have been the person providing these quantity surveys? Shouldn't the person that designed the building and should be supervising the building, the project?
That could have been written into the contract. But
that could have been, that could have been, that could have been, should have been.
Well, sometimes I've seen them as separate contracts sometimes.
Yes, but I'm just saying, the question I'm asking, Carlisle, the person that designed something, they would know what they designed. If there is a shortfall, they will be the one to do the correction.
Correct. But what you have at the hospital is is a sorry excuse for a hospital. Technically, and my understanding is that they have been advised to knock it down and start from scratch. But how do you explain to the people of Nevis that you spent $20 million and then you just had to bulldoze it? Started wrong.
Carlisle, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of the various hurricanes that took the Virgin Islands apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 1996, I was one of the electricians that went across to the Virgin Islands to assist in electrical restoration there. And I ended up doing a lot of the private homes because poor people down there, they just did not have the money to pay the big contractors then. So I took on some private work on the side. And every one of those homes that I went into, I'm talking about concrete homes, the wiring inside those homes, you know what there was? You know what we call UF wire? Similar to the Romex, the bare wire was plastered into the walls. I do not know which electricians wire those homes, but that is what was done in the Virgin Islands. The other electricians, I see them just cap a junction box on the top of the running ring beam, pick up from there and put on the lights and the fan and whatever. Every job that I did, I took my time and I took a jackhammer and I chop out every one of those lines and put in proper piping and pull in stranded wires, THHN wires, and give people the opportunity that in the future, should there be hurricane or another disaster, you don't have to go through all of that expense again. All you got to do is pull out the wires, tie one on one end and pull to where you want. You have to think about what you're doing. You have to have the skill set and understand the business that you're dealing with. I don't see anyone in the CCM government, neither Alexis or Mark Brantley, any one of them, that have the knowledge of construction to neither design or get into this kind of work. And it's the people of Nevis have to wake up and tell them time to go. How much more? How much more are we going to take?
Understand something, DJ, is that this government here, they act politically, what is politically expedient, not what is technically correct. And so you end up in situations like we have at the hospital. And we may end up very well so at the airport, because the people who should be on the ground leading this project are being left out. The thrust to rehabilitate Alexis Jeffers as a politician takes precedence over the importance of having your technical people, persons who went to university to study these things, who know. I mean, how can you have a statutory corporation like Diaspora with a board? You have an airport manager, you have a general manager, you have a physical planning department, you have a director of planning, you got a director of public works. You have very bright people, technical engineers, who've worked in the diaspora, but yet you're leaving them out of conversations with persons who you have brought in to do work on Nevis. How can this be justified? I would like anybody in the diaspora who support these people to engage in a conversation. Ask them, since they live abroad and they know the specifications, they know the processes of how governments should work. How can they justify this? And then the incumbent cost on the people breaking our backs with this debt that has accumulated because of all these mistakes. So it's not, these things are not happening in isolation, you know, DJ Morrishaw. They have consequences, real world consequences. We've had a project at the hospital that began in 2017. We are now in 2023. All the things that were supposed to be part and parcel of that new expansion, radiology and all sorts of fancy things to get better health care. How many persons would have had to suffer because that hospital not finished? How many dollars were spent going overseas to get health care because that process, that building was not complete? So there are real world consequences when you have situations that evolve like this. So Spencer Brown got his money. He's bankable, he's good, he's happy. The NIA got money to fund the campaign. They won, they're happy. But what about the people? What about the sick people who depended on this government to expand that project to make sure they get proper health care? What about those people? What about all the persons who come home to retire from a diaspora and have to run back because of medical conditions? These are consequences, real world consequences.
You know what I'm thinking about? even if you guys don't want any petition to assist you all over there, you all know you all have some very talented people in the diaspora from Nevis. You got people like Hugh Charles was a very good electrician here in the New York area. We work in similar construction field. You guys have a Calypsonian over there in Connecticut. King Chubby, Desmond Claxton, electrician as well, doing some serious work over there in Connecticut. And I could go on and on and on. If Premier Brantley don't want to hear from DJ Morrishaw, he could speak to a couple of these guys, you know. The Calypso, the King Ginger, very good builder as well, you know. You guys know you can reach out to your people in the diaspora for help.
I'll tell you something. I can name a few persons who, having retired back home here, nurses, healthcare professionals, volunteered to be at the hospital. And I end up leaving because they got no welcome mat, they got no support from the government. They basically say, well, you know, these guys, they don't want to be corrected. They don't want to be held under a microscope. And so persons like them who come home with the kind of worldly experience, you don't want to hear from them because they're going to be critical of your healthcare system, but critical in a positive way, in a transformational way. Because if you have persons who are telling you the correct way to do things based on their experiences in real world hospital settings, then you must listen. The arrogance of not listening is going to cost the people their lives. You know, and we have lost so many good people who have come back home and returned because they thought they could make a life here, retire here, and you know, kick back and have a hammer now and then. But they had to go back. They had to go back. It's a shame.
You know, I want to go into the next segment in a bit in regards to the salary discussion last week, which was a highlight. But before we go into that, Brother Daly, I want you to give me an opportunity to play this clip from last evening at the meeting, from Monday evening at the meeting, sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Kelvin Daly. Question. It seems as if we are in a field of dreams because we are building an airport hoping for something to happen without any definitive proof that it will happen. As Dr. Hodge indicated, we had the viability studies. We haven't seen it. But let's begin from the beginning. This is a project that I'm hearing is estimated to cost about $26 million about. Is that about right?
I don't know as yet. They haven't finalized their drawings.
Okay. But it's many millions. And you mentioned in your opening remarks that you would have invited Paris Consulting or Paris Engineering to take a look at this project. And as you know, that a project of this size, we exposes the people of Nevis to this level of debt, has to be tendered. How is it that Paris Consulting was able to attract such a lucrative tender without any competition? How do we know we're getting value for money? How is it we don't know that there was somebody else who was interested or who would be interested in contracting this type of consulting on this kind of project? I mean, we are going as if that, you know, I don't want to make any political speech because it's not a political thing. But tendering never happened on a project of multi-million-dollar expense. And we all know that that should never have happened. So could you please explain to me, in 2015, when you contracted or contacted Paris, how did you arrive to this day without any process of tendering? Thank you.
Okay. You asked about tendering for the consultant or tendering for the construction?
Well, in the first instance, since we are stage one consultant, let's start there.
Okay, no problem. I said from my presentation that at least we are familiar with the work of Paris Consulting. We had, and I wouldn't divulge right now here at this point in time, other options that were available to us, which were more expensive, of course. That, in my opinion, is something that I would I would leave for now, but at least one has to give the NIA some credit and understand that we're here to manage the affairs of Nevis. And in managing the affairs of Nevis, there's some level of confidence that has to be placed in the administration. If Perez Construction have been associated with the construction of a major project in St. Vincent, and of course their reputation is there for all of us to examine, and of course Leonardo, you'll make all of the construction you've done, all of the projects you've worked on. You can divulge that to the general public.
You want to know? Okay. Grenada, from long time before, when Bishop in Venezuela too. Argyle International Airport, in Varadero 3 Airport, in Nicaragua too. I don't know, I don't come to explain this history, but if you want, we can do that. And in Romania, in Jamaica, in Toronto. Other one, I forgot. Jamaica.
We involved in 11 airports.
I involved in the construction
11 airports.
11 airports around the world. In Varadero, in Havana,
Cayo Coco.
in Cayo Coco. You want to know more? You want more?
The bottom line is some work and research was done to come up with this particular group after we would have examined others. And we are confident with the group that we have chosen and what their capabilities of delivering a quality project for us.
Now, the situation is here, gentlemen. The question was about the procurement process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, how you feel about the response to your question, Brother Daly?
You really want to answer from me?
Yes, I want to answer from you.
I'm trying to be godlike tonight and behave myself. You're pushing me to the edge.
Yeah.
It is.
It's okay tonight. The edge is tonight. It's okay tonight.
It's insulting. It's actually very insulting that we had such an answer from a man who said he was a senior minister, who was the minister responsible for one of the larger ministries, who was the deputy premier of Nevis, who is familiar with the procurement ordinance that was passed in 2007, where tendering is by law required on any public project. What has happened is that if the project is only a small project, you know, some days more trouble than it's worth to go through a tendering. But there should be a tenders board set up for the express purpose of separating the politicians from the contractors. Let the tenders board determine by way of submissions who is the best person, the best fit, the most fit company to deliver the work. It should not be up to politicians who are, you know, in this case, asking for us to trust them. You know, the reason the ordinance was passed, the law was passed, is to do exactly as we are asking. That you remove the element of trust from the politicians and you put it into a neutral body called a tenders board. All right? And they will determine who is best suited. They would then advise the premier or advise the cabinet of their reasons why they selected this person. I could live with that. I could live with that. Anybody must live with that because they are applying the law as it is as it was intended. But for him to say that there were many others and they chose this one, so they have replaced the board. They are now the tenders board. I didn't see that in the legislation. I didn't see that as part of the legislation that they're now assuming the responsibilities of a tenders board. So who is the chairman of the tenders board? Who are the members of the tenders board? The cabinet? It's an insult to the people of Nevis. It's an insult whether in the diaspora or not. This is insulting, terribly insulting, that you are supposed to be the purveyors of the law, the keepers of the law, and you are breaking them. You are breaking them. At every turn, you are breaking them. You understand? And this is terrible. People are going to get on a flight to come home to Nevis to vote for these people. Then you're just as bad as them. You're no different than them. If you're knowing all these facts, which we are telling you, which you can verify easily, and you still decide to hell with NRP, to hell with the people of Nevis, I'm going to keep voting for the same people who are causing such eruption in our legal frameworks, in our democracy, then what better are you than them? How better are you than them? It's a shame.
Dr. Daly, I tell you what frightens me. Two things. The legal advisor, Helen Lewis, was in the audience. I'm hoping that she took note because she did not intervene. This would have been a most appropriate time to forget that she lives in a house which is owned partly or wholly by the premier, and she's paying rent to him, but to stand up as a legal advisor and to say, Mr. Jeffers, I believe that you misunderstood the question. And Mr. Perez, you did not answer the question. The people of Nevis right now are not too concerned about the qualifications of Mr. Perez and what airports he has worked at. They say 11 airports. We're not concerned about that at this particular point in time. What we are concerned about is the fact that Mr. Perez has been given a contract which I believe is worth close to $500,000, and it did not go out to tender. For Mr. Jeffers to say that we looked at others and they were more expensive, Mr. Jeffers, you have served the people of Nevis in government. You ought not to appear to sound so dunce and dense and daft. You were asked a simple question, the tendering process. It was not in your stead to come to the people and say, okay, listen, Mr. Perez is an experienced man. You work in Grenada and the airport, work in St. Vincent, and all kind of other airports. No! Did the process follow the tendering procedure? If it did, who are the persons who sat on the tenders board? Who evaluated the tenders? What is the recommendation? Because it normally comes in writing. Why was Mr. Perez chosen? And for Mr. Perez up there to be saying, goaded by his wife, you want to hear more? You want to hear more? Mr. Perez, know your place. You're in Nevis. Know your place. That came across as insulting. And I felt insulted as a Nevisian. When we are questioning a process which is law, the tendering process, and for you to be given the mic and say, well, I work at XYZ and I work at QRS, and you want to hear more, Mr. Perez, you're out of place. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your qualifications are. You are in Nevis, know your damn place. Respect the process in Nevis. And don't try to insult people by saying, well, listen, I don't work at these 11 airports. You want to hear more? You want to hear more? As if to say, you deserve the contract, no tendering, just give you the contract, come here, take with money, and go along about your business. That is insulting, Mr. Perez. And you should not go down that road again. Otherwise, we're going to put you in your place.
But Carlisle, very insulting.
Very.
But the premier does it on a daily basis. It's on a daily basis. The premier costs.
Who can get away with it, huh?
Is that a daily basis? The premier costs and disrespect the people of Nevis that he's supposed to be serving. So the people that he's gonna have around him, do you expect anything different? This is where Nevisians need to stand up and put a halt to that project. the process should be followed. If that company is selected for the work because they're the most qualified, I understand. But there should be a process. I got some information while I was on the ground in Nevis, you know. I don't know whether it's true or not, you know. But I was speaking to a contractor. And the contractor said that he went to bid on a job for the government. And when he put in his bid, they tell him, no, you got to put in a higher bid because something got to come back to them.
That has happened on many projects, DJ Morrishaw. I know of instance, it happened on Government House when they were doing the work on Government House. I could say that because I'm aware. People were told your bid is too low, you got to increase your bid. Where in the hell you find a government was saying, I want to pay you more than what you say you want? Jesus, Lord of mercy.
But something got to come back, you know. Something has to come back, you know, and that's how they operate. But in the case of the hospital, I know of at least one other person who had a team available to help design the hospital. And that person was not even considered. No response to a letter that was written to them expressing interest. Nothing. The contract was handed to the candidate for St. Paul's Nevis 1, handed it to him. And you can see the consequence of that. We still don't have the expansion. We are in debt up to our eyebrows with it. We have to now go and get qualified persons to do all kind of work to get some kind of facsimile of a hospital extension. I mean, it is shocking that persons, again, in the diaspora, who we believe are supposed to be more enlightened as to how things should work and things must work if government is to be successful, are coming here and maintaining the same posture that has gotten us in these problems with this government. And they need to wake up. The people here in Nevis are waking up and have woken up to a great degree. But we still have too many persons in the diaspora whose eyes are wired shut. They don't want to hear. The ears are closed to any reasonable conversation. And that is just one of the problems, because when the Premier and his team goes abroad and he gives them the regular schmeal about how good things are, they do not take the time to ask questions. They don't take the time to investigate whether they're being lied to or not. They're getting a free ticket and they come, you know, and they maintain us in the state we are in. And so a lot of the responsibility for the status we are in Nevis is due to persons who refuse to educate themselves, who refuse to examine the government in a realistic way, and continue to burden us with their selfishness because they got a free ticket to travel. It's unconscionable. That's what's happening. You know, we're the ones who are here.
You know, Brother Daly, when you speak about the people in the diaspora, I cannot help but thinking, you know, the people in the diaspora is several thousand miles away. But the person that chairs the NIA Assembly, the budget today, what you said that position is called?
President.
The president of the Assembly.
Yeah.
Well, the president of the Assembly, you're telling me that she's not aware of the conversation that Premier Brantley had about the letter that the former Prime Minister did not sign, that Dr. Joe signed in 2022?
Well, I want to apply the Ivor Stephen rule. She ought to have known, therefore she knew.
Well, I want to believe she ought to have known, but I also believe that she knew. All right? I want to believe that she knew. And Premier Brantley was given cover by the federal government of St. Kitts Nevis not too long ago, because the Attorney General had to be included in the suit in regards to the electoral situation there. So that matter was stopped in its tracks before it even get to a hearing. That I understood, that process. But what transpired today in that budget when Janice was stopped and interrupted by Premier Brantley, that individual chairing that meeting, she needs to be recalled. She needs to be removed. That definitely was a nail in the coffin for the St. Kitts Nevis people. Because I keep telling people, you know, we keep talking about not study Nevis people, let us stop over there, they're not like St. Kitts. There's federal funding that is leaving from St. Kitts to keep Nevis afloat, you know. I do not know if there's any money coming from Nevis to St. Kitts, because I understand according to the Constitution, taxes that paid in Nevis supposed to also come down to St. Kitts, and I understand it don't get there. I also understand that monies that the government take out of the employees' social should go into the kitty that is not going there. So there's a lot to be concerned about. And I am appealing to the St. Kitts people this evening. You know. I'm not just talking to the divisions. I'm speaking to everyone in the Federation, home and abroad. If we don't stop this train now, the train going to wreck all our house, you know. You're going to come off the tracks eventually. Are we going to wait until you get into our front door, our back door, to try to run out? We're going to be too late, you know.
Let me tell you something, Jeffrey. This budget we have, this 2024 budget that is being debated, is the largest single budget we have ever had in our history. $283 million thereabouts. The last budget was about 160 something. All right. When Brantley came into power in 2017, succeeding Vance Amory, we had the largest budget ever, was 276 or 279 million dollars. This one has surpassed it at a time when he himself is claiming that things are bad, that no increments can be offered. He does not support the double salary because governments can afford it. No new positions to be added. He's trying to force persons out into retirement at 62, our auxiliary workers. So he's implementing a whole slew of cost-saving measures to save revenue. That's what he said he wants to do, all right? He's doing all that. But at the same time, you're gonna present to the people of Nevis the largest single budget in our history. And most of that, a lot of it you don't have funding for. We have 66 million. Help me count here, please. You got 66 million coming from CBI receipts. You have 100 and they're saying 156. Let's go with that, with their numbers for argument's sake. 156 million from recurrent revenue. We got 13 million, 0.5 in loans. All right. That comes to about 200. And I'm sorry, yeah, 30.5 in loans. That comes to about $234 million. Just about. And the budget is 283. So where is that deficit going to come from? That $44 million, where is it going to come from? Who's going to finance that? Who's going to finance that? Between the federal government CBI receipts of 66 and their forecast for recurrent revenue of 154, you're looking about $208 million in hard cash. The rest of that budget, where is it going to come from? 13.5 is loans. They declare that up front. So where is the balance going to come from? People need to pay attention to these things, right? So you're holding a budget, 283 million thereabouts, and 44 million you can't tell the people. Well, how are you going to bridge that gap? It means, you know what it means, Jeffrey? That $13.5 million loan they're looking to get from local banks, it's going to blow up to 40+ million. Because if you're having a budget to finance, if you're having a realistic budget, then you must put money in the budget to make it work. Otherwise, all those capital projects you're projecting, all those things that you want to do to rebuild the Southeast Road and you want to do this, is all nonsense. It means you're not serious. Because that gap is too wide to be realistic. It is too wide. You know?
Definitely. Carlisle, it appears that you have the document in your hand that represents the budget. The Premier said in his press conference that he's going to be injecting a serious amount of monies into the hospital wing to finish it in 2024. Could you please find that section? What are you doing?
I can tell you right now, it's 8 million that's been budgeted. Last year was 10. This
12.
year is
12.
well, this year is 8. So I don't want to see how much is a large amount of money.
So 8 and 12, 8 and 12, 8 and 12 is 20 plus 19.
You can't count the 12 million because we don't know where they're going.
That was in paragraph 136. We have allocated significant funding in this budget to move the project to completion. And so when I heard him say in the press conference, basically the same sentence, I said to myself, I'm looking for a figure of about 30 million. When we searched through the estimates last night, we found a significant 8 million.
You guys have this thing like a joke to me. This is like one of them African movie now, you know. You all sure Nevis is in the same area as St. Kitts? Because I know St. Paul's is closer to Statia than Nevis, than going to Basti to go Nevis, you know. I think from St. Paul's to Statia is about 9 miles, 9 to 11 miles. To go to Basti is 14, you know. So I might have to start going to Statia instead of coming up by my partner, Carboy Fountain. You all need to get your act together in Nevis. You know. I'm not coming across to Fountain for no joke, you know. When I appear there in a couple of weeks, I come in for a serious conversation, you know. Nevis needs some injection in getting the people mobilized and get on the road. As a matter of fact, you know, you spoke about CBI, Brother Daly. So I'm going to jump in that segment real quick, that we could move on because Carlisle have his dominant classes to deal with. So let's take a listen to Premier Brantley speaking about his opposition to what the former Prime Minister was saying about the CBI, and I'm gonna let our good friend there, my good partner Ian Patches-Libert, respond to him. So take a listen.
And what I'm seeing happening with the Citizenship by Investment program is the same thing. And I'm sending a clear signal tonight. I was foreign minister of this country for 7 years. I sat in a government for 7 years. I believe that the former leader of St. Kitts and Nevis, the man who headed my government and cabinet, need to sit down and hush him out about CBI. That would be my gentle and humble advice. Go sit down and hush him out about citizenship by investment. Talk about other things. But leave that one day alone, because I am telling you now, some information is going to come to light and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pleasant. So I am saying respectfully, go sit down on that. Take it easy. Talk about other things, but leave that one day alone, because too many problems were created in that program because everybody was there, glad-handing and wink and a nod. Everybody was drinking champagne and getting Louis Vuitton luggage and expensive watch and shoe. Now let me start open my mouth. Let people stop what they're doing. The program is important to us. Let us all protect it. Let us all protect it and stop this effort to destroy it, because when you destroy it, what else? People come and
Now, gentlemen, the Premier said he was in a government and he was there as a foreign minister for 7 years. But recently he said he was out in the yard. He didn't know what was going on.
We are yard foul.
DJ Macho, on our show last week, we played a clip where numbers were revealed in 2016. Where was he? Even if he out in the yard, he's always on social media. How he didn't know that the man who was his prime minister had revealed numbers? You know where he was? Maybe somewhere down in Estonia. Maybe someplace in Turkey. Because as foreign minister, he wanted to have a stamp from every country in his passport. He didn't have time to deal with matters at home.
Well, I'm going to let Patches respond to him and we're going to come back to you guys. Stand by.
The issue relating to the allegation about the CBI seem to have gone off the radar, at least for now. Mark Brantley has gone quiet. Astafan as well has gone quiet. And remember, they both tried to seize what I call a political moment. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, some 2 weeks ago, with propaganda. Only to find out that in trying to propagate or spread the idea that those who manage the citizenship by investment unit corrupted the CBI. It was not too long, however, that we found out that Mark Brantley introduced a white French convict to his cabinet colleagues, also to Dr. Drew. Yes, Mark Brantley, my Straight Dog family, and the Nevis Island administration got into bed with a scamp, my Straight Dog family. Mark Brantley and the Nevis administration, Nevis Island administration, I should say, not only got into bed with a scamp, but negotiated to pay the scamp with our money, my Straight Dog family. And this is what he told us, my Straight Dog family.
Mark Brantley, who is the premier of Nevis, wanted to diversify the economy.
Yes, there is a financial arrangement with MSR. I believe the number is $150,000.
We are prepared to do 35 films over the next 5 years. Along with our development, we are finalizing the purchase of a hotel in St. Kitts so that we can have a base to produce and train people in St. Kitts.
Yes, and and as we have spoken before, that you will definitely have our support.
And what is his support, my Straight Dog family? What is the support given by Dr. Drew and his labor administration? That is a big secret. And why? Why is this big secret, we ask you? And while he was instructing us, Mark Brantley, about the young men in St. Kitts Nevis, Mark Brantley went to bed with a criminal in a jacket and a tie, my Straight Dog family.
When we talk about crime, we focus only on the young men in some of the troubled neighborhoods. And we forget to mention those in jacket and tie, because they too are criminals.
Yes, my Straight Dog family. Mark Brantley really is one of them who is mashing up not just the CBI, but he is mashing up St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'll tell you why. Because he brought a criminal investor to Nevis and introduced him to his cabinet. And we have with a criminal investor selling our passports. How can that be? Is a question and a pertinent one. Philippe Martinez should have produced 6 movies in Nevis. How many has he done? And these questions need answers, Mark Brantley. How?
So basically, they've been asking about the CBI passport. Did you guys find out how many movies was made?
I think I heard a number. They said a total of 9. I don't have any evidence. To be quite honest with you, I have not been following him. I don't know how many were done in Nevis, how many were done in St. Kitts. But you notice how long it took the premier to come out and say 150,000. He refused to say US dollars. But Dr. Kelvin Daly had told us this a long time ago. He knew the numbers. Dr. Mr. Brantley just confirmed that yes, it's $150,000 over a period of at least a year. They were able to make enough money to buy a whole hotel in St. Kitts.
It was a 2-year deal, you know, from what I understand.
It was 2 years.
It was a 2 year deal, I understand. So 150,000 US for 2 years, while Nivision, Kittition struggle and suffer and squant.
But you know, the funny thing, Jeffrey, is the fact that we were raising, from the minute we learned about this gentleman, we were raising the alarm. Because a leopard doesn't change its spots. Once you start crooking people who have faith in you, who give you the money, you're going to keep crooking people. And he had the perfect patsy in our premier, the perfect patsy who was desperate for any investment, no matter the cost. So it ended up costing us to house these guys $150,000 US a month. When people who coming out of COVID couldn't get $1 to help their families, when people are struggling all over this country because he was building a film industry. Well, where's the film industry now? The same things he warned would happen, happened. When I had a conversation with the gentleman, Mr. Martinez, by the way, he had threatened to sue me because I wrote something he didn't like. And I said to him, what value is Nevis getting from the investment in you? He said the value is limitless because the movies he's making are seen worldwide and they're going to promote Nevis and all things good about Nevis. You know, and I was very disgusted by that because, you know, these are B movies. These are C movies. Nobody in their right mind go and watch these movies to any great degree. All right? But to the point where Brantley said on his radio show that some information gonna come to light and they're gonna mash up Timothy Harris. That was a letter from the same gentleman, Philip Martinez. And what did Dr. Harris do? Fire back one at him. And what happened after that? Everything gone quiet. You could hear crickets. So what was it bang in that letter? There's none. None. And see, when these guys get on their radio shows and they talk all this nonsense about they got files on people and they got this on people and all kind of people, nobody got more dirty laundry than them. All this big bluff is to keep the eyes off of them and onto somebody else. That's all it is, right? And the question that I asked in a post at one point, what did Mark want to divulge, if anything, to Mr. Martinez for him to go after Dr. Harris like that? Because these cabinet conversations are by law confidential. You understand? So did he reveal something to Mr. Martinez? How did Mr. Martinez know anything about what's going on with the prison CBI project? I mean, it's just too convenient. You know, this is a good friend of the premier.
Morrishaw, maybe I should tell you that there is a whole paragraph in the budget on the film industry.
All right, let's hear it.
Paragraph 98. Madam President, the administration pursued a successful partnership with MSR Media during COVID-19 to create a film industry in Nevis from scratch, which saw the production of some 9 films over a 2-year period. MSR Media has now moved its operation elsewhere, but we thank them for their partnership in showing Nevis what is possible in this new and exciting sector. We have now hired a film commissioner attached to the Nevis Investment Promotion Agency, and we intend to continue to incentivize film, music, commercials, and photo shoot producers to bring projects to Nevis. We have excellent leads for 2024 and expect to see several film projects in Nevis during the next fiscal year. I don't know if Dr. Daly knows who is the film commissioner, but I suspect that that is somebody who is also over $100,000, and it might be US. And you hear what this man said. St. Kitts is next door. It seems as if he's afraid to say St. Kitts. MSR Media has now moved its operations elsewhere. So St. Kitts ain't gonna name, he ain't know where they gone. What a joke. Yeah.
The question I have for you, Brother Powell, is this. That is written in the budget.
In the budget.
Right. You think if he were to be asked by a journalist 2 months from now about that statement, you think he will remember that?
No,
Yeah, I remember.
it would be like beer rock. Beer.
Stand by. Stand by.
On the issue of water, let me just say quickly that the ministry has engaged the services of Mr. Skip Hoag, H-O-A-G, and he comes from an entity called Bear Rock Consulting, B-E-A-R, Bear Rock Consulting, and that is an entity in the U.S. He is currently on island.
Can you provide an update on Bear Rock Consulting following an announcement a few months ago about the NIA's involvement?
So the Bear Rock Consulting?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm not familiar with Bear Rock Consulting. B-A-R-E?
B-E-A-R.
I'm not sure. Bear Rock Consulting doesn't ring a bell for me. I wonder, is that the water?
Yes. That
All right, so
I want to.
So the situation is there, gentlemen. You are sure that your premier gonna remember that segment?
No.
Have you ever heard the term water torture or waterboarding?
Yeah, waterboarding. Yeah.
Or waterboarding, right? You put a towel over somebody's head and you slowly drip water over their faces. They think they're drowning. Give the impression of drowning. That is how I feel when I listen to this man. I feel like being waterboarded. You know, it's torture because he lies so incessantly. I cannot accept, nor will I normalize this level of lying. He's hoping for some reason that people become accustomed to it and people accept it. You know, that it's a normal course of action, that you simply lie. And I would never accept it. Could never accept it. If you are dealing with the trust of the people, the public trust, people are paying you to deliver on their behalf. People are paying you to look out for their best interests. So anything less than full and upright work is a betrayal of that trust. And I don't think he understands that. He's hoping for the opposite. He's hoping people get so worn out by the lies and the mediocrity and the incompetence. They will simply say, I give up. I give up.
Carlisle, question. You was a part of the NIA at some point. Is there something such as a code of conduct for the NIA?
Well, you are bound by the oaths that you take when you assume office. You swear that you are going to do your duty without fear or favor, and that you're going to, whatever is said in cabinet is cabinet secret. It does not come out. You don't have the right to bring it out. These fellows take these oaths and they don't give a damn about them. They take them because it's part of the process of getting in there. And as soon as they take them, they forget them. Nevis, CCM under Mark Grantley. Mark has decided that only half of the people in Nevis matter. Well, they won the government, so let's say that they got half.
Stick up in. I'm gonna let you finish your conversation because I want you to listen to this, and then you could finish your conversation.
I want to say something, and it might be a little controversial. We have seen money flowing into the country from citizenship by investment. We have become addicted to it. But we have also created now in our population a similar addiction. You may ask what I mean. Every year it seems the government is engaged in giveaways. And nothing is wrong with that. The government gives a double salary, our public servants work hard. Nothing is wrong with that. But more and more I'm getting, Madam Speaker, that it is not motivating people, it is in fact demotivating them. You know what somebody said to me in Nevis the other day? Thank you for the double salary. You're glad we get the double salary. But why I get the same money like people who don't come to work? Why I'm getting the same money with people who are always late, absent, don't produce? And so if I am a hard worker, and I know at the end of the year I'm getting a double salary, just like Punsi who don't come to work and has no interest in work, who stays away as much as she can, who takes the 2 hours for lunch instead of 1, then everybody get the same double salary. It ends up demotivating those who are committed to the task. And we have spoken about it a lot. Punsi, sorry. Fictitious, why did I man name? Where you go? Zook, who don't come to work. I apologize. I know. No, the speaker quite rightly chastised me. Why did Punsi have to be a woman? So I take that. Right? There's a fellow in Nevis called Pucci. Maybe I should use that word instead. But the point I'm making is, you know what is happening now with things like double salary? People now expect it. From you see September roll around, people start to say, oh, double this year, double, double. People start to spend it and all because it's now become a norm. And I'm not saying that because I begrudge people getting something. I am saying that what we need to do is to reward good performance and not to reward mediocrity. And when you have a one-size-fits-all type of approach, it ends up demotivating people rather than motivating them to do better. We have talked for a long time about pay for performance. They've tried to introduce that in different, standard in the private sector, but in terms of the public sector space, pay for performance. So if my good friend from number 1 has some high-performing people, people are always going to the mat, making sure the work is done, why they must get the same double salary like somebody who don't like work and who don't come to work? Why? You have some people who are on sick leave more than they are on the job. But they collect. And so I am saying that what we are doing is rather than using the same CDI and the same proceeds, we are creating out there an expectation in our public that this is the way things are going to go.
So that presentation was in Parliament, the Federal Parliament in 2022. Remember, he stepped it up this year and his program. He said some of them down at the bar drinking drunkards. So you're sure he care about half of Nevis?
Let me answer this way by saying to you that it does not involve anybody who he assumes is green or leaning green. Let me say further. Mark Brantley made an impassionate plea against double salaries. Why didn't he make the same plea between 2015 and 2022 when he was taking home 2 salaries every month? Why didn't he make the same plea at the end of the year when Dr. Harris ordered a double salary, when he took home 4? He spoke about people who don't come to work. You're aware that during the time when he was foreign minister, that Mark Brantley was out of the Federation for approximately 4 months every year, sitting in a hotel. Sometimes he had a half-a-day meeting, and he was gone for a whole week for a half-a-day meeting. But at the end of the month, he collected a double salary. That wasn't all. What about all those per diems and the add-ons? By traveling for 4 months of the year, he became a very wealthy man. But he's jealous and grudge and envious of a poor civil servant who struggled for the whole year, barely meeting the mortgage and all of the other payments, and at Christmas time, get a double salary so that they could enjoy themselves and buy some ties for the children. Where do I find this man? Really and truly, Mark Brantley has no right being premier of any country, and only in Nevis could he succeed. Because we have a Christian society in Nevis. Hensley Daniel used to say how many churches we have. I think it's nearly close to 70 by now. And these 70 churches and church people, and so they turn a blind eye. They don't care nothing about. As a matter of fact, some of them go down, march down to make sure that they vote for CCM because them blue. And then they go back and they say, and the Lord said, and this, let me not tune up Dr. Daly though, because I'm a nice Christian fellow. It's just that some of the hypocrisy that I see coming from people, I can't understand it. He took a double salary for 7 years, but he is saying he don't support a double salary because a poor fella over in Brownhill, over in Zion where I come from, will get a double salary. But his salary at $148,000 a year is totally different to the fella, the teacher who is working hard and only making $25,000 a year. But he grudged them for getting a double salary. But every month, he get 3 times what they get, 4 times what they get, 5 times what they get. But he's cool with that. And the funny thing about it, you know, DJ Morrishaw, some of the teachers, some of the police are paid from Sinkits. Some of the civil servants in Nevis, they're okay with that. They're okay with that. They're not making any noise. They're struggling like hell, but they're not making any noise. Because if they make noise, they're going to upset Mr. Brantley. Well, I like to upset him. So I'm going to make noise. Morrishaw, I'm going to have to leave you. I did promise you an hour and a half. We've gone over 2 hours. But I'm going to have to leave you.
I appreciate that, but guess what? I want to play this clip. I want to know if it's in the budget, and then you could run. I just want to see if this one is in the budget.
In terms of the hospital project, I had hoped today that I would have had an update, but I do not. And the reason I do not is because we are still waiting on some quantity surveys that are to be done. We had hired and paid for those to be done by a professional on St. Kitts. Suffice it to say that that professional has taken the money but not delivered. And so we have been forced midstream to change course. I'm told now that we have outsourced that activity to an entity in the US, and I hope that I should be able to come back to you in short order with an update on that. And if not myself, then the Minister of Health should be able to come with an update. If that update comes prior to my next press conference, we will share that update.
And what I'm seeing now.
Okay, so is there anything on that?
Paragraph 135. I am to report that we have engaged the services of Medical Design Consultants LLC, a Florida-based company, which has been working to provide quantity takeoffs for the internal aspects of the new hospital wing. The report will serve as a guide to the contractor at the finishing stage and include matters such as recommended wall locations, floor ceilings, appropriate type and location for elevators and air conditioning systems, suitable electrical and emergency alarm systems, proper drainage systems for waste generated from areas such as the lab and operating theater, along with other international best practices for equipment and furniture. You see this? You see that sentence? Mark Brantley announced the hospital in 2014. They started in 2017. And he is coming to us in 2023, the end of 2023, to tell us, listen, we designed the hospital. We started building full speed, but we don't know where the interior walls are going to go. We don't know where drainage is supposed to go. We don't know about the electricals and so on. Mark Brantley, if you see somebody like him, when he's talking those kind of talk, my grandmother would have said somebody need to, the old time days when they used to use pop, you need to put up a pail, a steel, something in the pot, and when you're talking, you just straight over your head. He is the worst example of any minister of finance, any premier in the history of Nevis. Why are we taking so long to tell this man that is a waste of time and he need to resign? He need to go. You build a hospital, budget for 19 million, and you say that, listen, 9 years after you announced the hospital, you say, hey, hold on. We are now engaging a company in the United States of America to tell us where the walls should go in the hospital, where the floor, what is a floor ceiling? I know ceiling and I know floor. It's a floor ceiling. Appropriate type and location for elevators. Air conditioning. You build a hospital, you don't know what kind of air conditioning you're going to put in?
Carlisle, I am telling you publicly online, I don't believe what you're reading is in that document. So you need to get a document for me.
100.
You got
Page
to get,
136. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to go back to the source.
find a copy for me. Because I don't believe what you're reading is in that thing. I think you're just reading from the top of your head.
I gave Dr. Daly one so he can confirm.
I'm going to send you the electronic version of it so you can read it for yourself.
Brilliant. Send me the link as well, Daily, because I need to feed it to some people.
This cannot be real. And if this is real, brother Carlisle, I'm going to give you the opportunity to say your goodbyes, and I'm going to play a song on your way out, you know. There's someone down there sing a song about CAT scan. I believe that Baby Brantley, Mark Brantley, and Premier Brantley, all of them need to take a CAT scan of their head. So I'm going to drop the track for you. So I'm going to give you a chance to say your goodbyes to you folks.
Well, DJ Morrishaw, I owed you. I know I'd been off the program for a long time, and I did promise that I'll come on. And I still don't think that I've made up yet, so I'll make myself available to you. But on this budget, it is similar to a lot of other budgets. What jumped out at me when the Premier was talking, one, NRP promised a flight school in 2017. In 2023, it is making its way into the CCM language, because Alexis Jeffers announced at the town hall meeting that they are planning to have a flight school. It only took them 6 years after NRP announced it. Dr. Daly announced the broiler production unit in 2017. 6 years later, they are telling us that it will be ready by next year. Never mind they brought in the equipment and they're paying $3,000 a month rent because they have not yet built the building. They have not started the building yet. As a matter of fact, every now and again, they send in a backhoe to clear bush so somebody gets some pay. Because the area where they should put it, rainfall in the bushing over. In 2017, NRP said, listen, let us look at opening up the southeast portion of Nevis. A couple of years ago, they put $500,000 in the budget. And they said, we are going to be doing a study. This year in the budget, they say, okay, we are now going to be going out to tender for survey and other works to see where the road should go. All of those came from NRP. So when somebody called me and said, hey, why you don't produce manifesto? And I showed them covers of about 6 different manifestos they back off. I said, but not only that, CCM now we produce manifestos because in this manifesto, this is what we said. CCM now coming with it. In that manifesto, we said this, they're now coming with it. In that manifesto, we said that, they're just coming with it. And in all of this, you see this hospital that they said they're building up there? We're supposed to put in a dialysis unit. We brought in one in 2013, came in April of 2013. CCM and Mark Brantley allowed it to rot. To rotten 2 units in a container. And our people are still going down to St. Kitts to get dialyzed. But you know, I start remembering a lot of things that my grandmother told me. Some of the people who go in for dialysis, they are the first in line to vote for CCM. So my grandmother told me, if somebody got cold, you know better drink the bush tea for them. Let them drink bush tea for them cold. So when they start to talk and make noise, I can make noise to the DJ Morrishaw. If they're keeping quiet, me gonna keep a little quiet too on those matters. But one thing I keep telling people, could have been any one of us on dialysis, could have been our family members. All of us needed to make noise and get rid of Mark Brantley when he as Minister of Health allowed the units to rot. $500,000 worth of equipment. It showed that the man didn't care. But instead of that, people lined up behind him and say, oh, we don't have any training. They tell me it takes 6 weeks to train somebody in dialysis. They've been in office since 2013. You're talking 10 years. So how many 6 weeks you have in 10 years? DJ Morrishaw, have a good night. I hope your audience...
And that note before you go, okay? I just want to let you know, as I have said previously, I work in a hospital, nursing home, and various facilities that we had for 20 plus years. I have access to specialists, retirees in every aspect of a hospital, every department, who is willing to contribute their service if we had leaders down there in Nevis that is willing to listen. It is not that we don't have the people that is willing to do it. Somebody just ain't getting it. So partner, thanks for coming. Brother Daly, you're hanging out with me?
Well, I got to go too because I have another obligation. Another meeting.
All right, well, you do your closing because I got a CAT scan here from Premier Brantley, so.
Okay. Well, as usual, I do thank you and I do thank Carlisle for sharing the podium with me this evening. It always makes life easier when you have so many brains around the same topics. But let me say to you especially, I do appreciate the fact that you are promoting the issues we have here on Nevis, bringing them to the fore for discussion. It's a well appreciated service you're doing. You don't have to do it. For all those who continue to join the conversation with you and with others, with us on Tell Me and Target, we do appreciate you, and I do hope that tomorrow night, when you tune in, we'll continue the conversation. I just want to wish everybody a pleasant good evening, and we'll have a lot more to talk about tomorrow evening. So DJ, thank you, and we'll talk again next time.
All right, partner, thanks. Let me drop the CAT scan here for you guys because I think you guys need some cat down there in Nevis.
Complain how she had splitting from a migraine. Right away this young physician said he want to give her a CAT scan. She tell him, not because you think I come from country, I ain't coming here to let you fool me. I suggest you treat me for my condition. There's no way I'm bringing my cat for you to scan. Let's get one thing straight up, you ain't scanning my cat. I complain for a migraine, what my cat have to do with that? I know you take me for a simpleton, but you're not a veterinarian. Look, today you're picking on the wrong woman, cause there's no way I'm bringing my cat for you to scan.
Get to the cat well scanned, Brother Brantley.
The doc told her, listen, young woman, I think you have the wrong impression. He explained to her that a CAT scan is similar to a mammogram. But despite the doctor's explanation, she kept on voicing her objection. I told you of my complaint, but like you wanna quest, because now you want to examine my chest. Let's get something straight up, you ain't scanning my cat. I complain for a migraine, what my cat have to do with that? I know you take me for a simpleton, but you're not a veterinarian. Look, today you're picking on the wrong woman, cause there's no way I'm bringing my cat for you to scan.
Yes, Premier Brantley. You got to get you a CAT scanned.
Crisis. Never been accused of malpractice. Wondering how he should handle this and keep his name out of stupidness. He never ever had a patient who tried to accuse him of malintent, while considering the best way to respond. The woman kept repeating the admonition Let's get one thing straight up. You ain't scanning my cat. I complain for a migraine. What my cat have to do with that? I know you take me for a simpleton, but you're not a veterinarian. Look, today you're picking on the wrong woman, 'cause there's no way I'm bringing my cat for you to scan. Took the decision to treat her with a sedation. He said, I'm going to give you an injection, after which you'll have to lay down. But she said, Doc, you're acting real suspicious, like you want to make me unconscious, to put me in a state of helplessness. So now you can start scanning my cat and my chest. Let's get something straight up. You ain't scanning my cat. I complain for a migraine. How my cat get mixed up with that? I know you take me for a simpleton, but you're not a veterinarian. Look, today you're picking on the wrong woman, 'cause there's no way I'm bringing my cat for you to scan.
Yeah, Premier Brantley, my brother, I got to organize a CAT scan for your head, you know, because something is really going on there with you. Oh, I want to big up my son there, Jeffroy Jr. there in the LA area. How are you doing, son? How is Sister Jazette doing? Hope all is well. My sister Esther there in the Tartola area. The boy Mukish and the kids, hope all is well. My brother there, Carl Morris in St. Thomas. Sister Valencia Morris, how are you doing? Patsy Brown, the man Avon Brown, hope all is well with your sister Etlin, Cannoneer, Blyden. My favorite cousin there, Sister Natalie Carty, how are you doing? Good evening, hope all is well. How is Caroline? Cheryl Bryan, how are you doing? Sister Tracy Jeffers, how are you doing? Tracy Powell, how are you doing? Sister Netza, Patsy, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Sister Bessie, well, we're going to drop this one from the Mighty Pat. This one is called Help the Government. And by the way, folks, I'm happy to report that my 3 horses that went across to the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis to participate in Sugar Mass 52, they went through the elimination process over the last weekend there, Saturday and Sunday, and they're gone through to the semifinals, which will be taking place on the 14th of December, which is next Thursday. So I want to congratulate the King Freddy, the man Elvis Williams, aka the King Freddy, for a good performance. The Unpredictable World, real good performance. He went through to the finals. The man Glenn Green, stage name Green Tea, he also went through nicely. Answered the question, that was his track. And my boy Mighty Pat, he also went through with flying colors with a track, Help the Government. So we're going to drop that track right now, Help the Government by the Mighty Pat, as we try to wind down the curtains here for another Wednesday evening. So take a listen to Mighty Pat with this track, a monster of a track, as they would say, Help the Government.
Bamba de badam bambi, we da 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 de hoa. One love. The election is over and the masses have spoken. They have chosen a government that will move these islands along. But they got some carry come, bring come, who still carrying on the campaign. Because they didn't vote for this government, they think that the mass is insane. So they do anything in their power to make sure these islands don't prosper. They can't wait until next election to say I had tell you so, my friend, that is wrong. You only keeping these islands down. We got to help the government. After all, it is all of us that they represent. We got to stop the fussing and fighting, cause it ain't getting us no way. Get rid of our hatred and anger. Look forward to a brighter day. Let us think of our children's future. Remember, if this boat turn over, is everybody gonna drown? Check your position, cause to stifle progress is wrong. Wrong. We da 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 dee da 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 no. Yeah man, Kaiso. Listen. Some of us are one-sided that we can't see the other side. The truth standing right in front us, covered with selfishness and pride. So we go on TV and talk show, spreading rumors and propaganda, saying how the government failing, when in our hearts we know it ain't so. They'll be the first one to come and tell you that they cheat in the election, just because their party didn't make it. The winning party, they want a bun singing a sad song and keeping these islands down. We got to help the government. After all, it is all of us that they represent. We got to stop the fussing and fighting, cause it ain't getting us the way. Get rid of our hatred and anger. Look forward to a brighter day. Let us think of our children's future. They're coming up and we going down. Remember, if this boat turn over, is everybody gonna drown? Stop singing your sad song, cause to stifle progress is wrong. Wrong. Woo da 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 dee da 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 do. Yeah. No man is an island, and that we know for sure. If we all work together, we could accomplish a whole lot more. Remember, without cooperation, you could never get nothing done. Be careful how you light a fire, cause you might end up getting burned. Some people don't want to put in nothing, but they want to take out everything. Remember, rewards with labor could make you a queen or a king. Check your position and stop keep the island down. We got to help the government. After all, it is all of us that they represent. We got to stop the fussing and fighting, cause it ain't getting us the way. Get rid of our hatred and anger. Look forward to a brighter day. Let us think of our children's future. They're coming up and we going down. Remember, if this boat turn over, is everybody gonna drown? Check your position, cause to stifle progress is wrong. Wrong. We got to help the government. Oh yes, we got to help the government. Yeah. Whoa. Da 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 da. Come on. Lend a helping hand. Thank you.
Yes, that's the sound of the mighty Pat. That one was the track that he sang for the elimination. It says to help the government. I want to say hi to Chantel Brooks. Good evening. Gigi Williams, Keith again. I in the door. Lynette Farrell, how are you doing? Deacon Oral Jeffers, how are you doing? Huh? Hope all is well with you guys. Joan Matthews, what's the time there in the UK? You're up late. I want to big up my brother there, the man Thaddeus Depot. So I understand he's down under there in the Australia area. Good evening, brother Thaddeus. Rutland Hill, good evening. Hope all is well. Brother Chester Watson, Joseph Brooks, good evening. How are you doing? Olivia Brown. Also, Veronica Roberts, how are you doing? Judy Cornelius Webb, how are you doing? Good evening. I want to big up my sister there, Pastor Brown. Sister Cicely Brown, how are you doing? How is your husband and Cody? I hope all is well. I want to touch Lioness Charles. How are you doing, my girl? Hope all is well with you. I want to also say good evening to the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Joe. I understand he's back in the Federation, safe from his travels. I would hope that he's settled in and ready for the work ahead. 2024 is going to be a serious year for the people of St. Kitts Nevis. I understand budget should be sometime next week. I look forward to hearing the good things going to be coming out of that budget. I also understand there is some presentation tomorrow at some point with the AG and the Ombudsman and few people in regards to the freedom of information and all of that stuff that was passed in the Parliament recently. So I look forward to hearing that information as well. Good evening, Brother Kelvin Hanley. Sister Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, good evening. How are you doing? Sister Pat Bartlett, Brother Jeff Pemberton, how are you doing? Good evening. J.D. Keynes, Emmanuel Niles. Brother Carbo, good evening. How are you doing? How is the folks there in the fountain? I hope you're ready for the weekend for your goat water and your fish and fungi and green banana. You know, the folks are gearing up for the weekend. I want to touch my sister there, Sister Haley Tennant there in Scotland. How is the kids doing? Hope all is well. My brother there, Brother George Nisbet, hanging out someplace around the world. How are you doing, sir? The man Eustace Hendrickson over there in the Houston area, the man Big O. Sister Abby Archibald, how are you doing? Hope all is well. Brother Melvin Herbert, my deputy there for the JefroyMorrishaw Sports Club, the man Cardell, JB, Ivan, and crew. Well, we're going to drop another track here, the second track by Mighty Pat. And this one is called I Am an Alien in My Country. This one, music was arranged and done by Malvern Gums of the Spectrum Band of St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. Lyrics by Mighty Pat. So take a listen.
Are you ready? This is Mighty Pat at the control tower. We're gonna chant them down. We're gonna push them down. We're gonna break them down. Get ready to sing. 1, 2, 3. I'm an alien in my country. St. Kitts Nevis, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over slowly in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. St. Kitts Nevis, where I was born, there will be no place for me to hold on. We'll be sinking, we'll be drowning in deep water. There'll be no recover. Power hungry politicians slowly selling outer island to Tom Dick. Anybody who have money, now look what they make with. I'm an alien in my country. St. Kitts Nevis belongs to we. Foreigners taking over daily in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. The little job that we used to have, foreigners take it while me a starve. The little food that I used to sell, foreigners taking even that as well. The jobs and businesses here in this country are owned by Arabs, Indians and Chinese. Gone to the beach, this white man tell me to get off of his property. I'm an alien in my country. St. Kitts Nevis, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over slowly in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over daily like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. DJ Morrishaw came and tell me. He said, Mighty, listen carefully. there'll be no place in our country left for are we. Watch and you will see. Foreigners will be Prime Minister. Foreigners will be Premier. Foreigners will be Governor. Cause of passport money, we're going back in slavery. I'm an alien in my country. Think it's Nevis, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over daily in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. If you are proud to be a Kittitian, if you are proud to be a Nevisian, then take your flag up in your hand and wave it in any direction. These land belong to you and me, so stand up with pride and dignity and tell them foreigners bully, they ain't gonna chase me out of we country. I'm an alien in my country. Think it's Nevis should belong to we. Foreigners taking over daily in our country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. Come on. Let me see you say. Let me hear you say. Let me see you go. Where? Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Don't cry them. Put up.
Yeah, sound of the mighty Pat. That's one is an alien in my country. Yeah, Sister Valina, I love it myself. I gave Pat the idea to get it together for me, and I am very appreciative of him putting the lyrics so well together. And I also appreciate Brother Malvern Gums for his arrangement, his horns, and I could imagine when Pat make it to finals night, it's gonna be war on the stage when that song come out, you know. So I look forward to that. I want to say good evening to my boy there, the man himself, Brother Kent. Lord Kent, how you doing? How is Sister Debbie? Hope all is well with you, Brother Tony Hendrickson and crew. My brother there, Gene Paris, how you doing? How is the kids? Hope all is well. Brother Brown, the mechanic there out of St. Kitts, hope all is well. I want to big up my boy Ras there in the Parsons area. Good evening, Ras. Don't forget, you guys could check out Ras for your cook up, your goat water, your bullfoot, and Friday evening, Saturdays, mornings for breakfast. Just check out the Ras man, tell him DJ Morrishaw sent you. And you know, Sugar Mass, he'll be cooking every day. So don't forget, that's Backstreet Passing Ground. Also, Brother Body there, Body Slam Shop right there in Newton Ground, right up the road by the Felix there. Just check Brother Body, tell him DJ Morrishaw sent you. Lovely cook up bullfoot and thing as well. Also, me got my boy Giza, right there at the entrance of the ferry terminal. That guy barbecue everything you could think about. From pigtail to goat to monkey to chicken, anything you want, Giza drop it on the grill for you there, right there at the ferry terminal. And Sister Carmen Catering, right there across from Giza. Check her out right there in the corner of Sherlane. Definitely have some good menus for you. On Sunday, she's at the bus stop there in Boyd's across from the Agawa shop. Check her out, let her know DJ Morrishaw sent you. I also want to say good evening to my uncle there, Uncle Joseph Emmanuel. Yeah, the Garvey's estate. Don't forget, for your folks that might be heading home to the Federation for the holidays, you're looking someplace to stay, you want to keep a party, wedding, you want to just take some pictures in natural area, the place to go is the Main House Guest House, Garvey's estate. The man Joseph Emmanuel, just tell him DJ Morrishaw sent you, and he'll definitely take care of you in the best way that he can. His number, you can reach him at his area code 869-668 1392. That's area code 869-668-1392 for Joseph Emmanuel. Also, don't forget to check out Sister Gloria Hutchins today at the Smart Fit store for your clothing needs. There's the main store there in the old Simaco building next to Skelec on Central Street. And there's also a store there on Caron Street, right across from right out 4th Street, across from the gas station, just at the Morrishaw Center. And you can reach Gloria at 869-662-7141. I also want to say good night to my boy there, brother Austin Williams, the dancing commissioner. How you doing, my brother? Hope all is well. Don't forget Sister Laura as well, Laura Williams. She has a store in the TDC Mall right there on 4th Street, where DJ Morrishaw sent you. And Jasmine right next door as well. All your clothing need, check them out. I want to big up my boy Michael, brother Michael Clark there at the Jamrock restaurant in Frigate Bay. Serve lunch, dinner, lovely food. Check him out. The team at DJ Morrishaw sent you. In the meantime and between time, don't forget for your folks that are going across to Nevis, we got some ferry taking us across back and forth, but don't forget to support the apple cider there, Sister Desiree and Frankie. Let them know DJ Morrishaw sent you. Also, the Caribbean Express, Brother Prince and Captain Hull there. Let them know that DJ Morrishaw sent you to support. We're going to try and do a couple of tents with the mighty Pat, King Freddie, and the man Glenn Green. She'll be doing one down there, Jasmine's down there, right across from the tickets booth at the ferry terminal. We're going to be having those guys there performing sometime next week around 5 o'clock. Might be Monday or Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday. So keep your ears and eyes open. When you get off work, just check out Jasmine. Tell her you hear that the guys will be there jamming. Also going to check out my boy Carbo there, Nevis, up in Fountain. And Sister Loretta there at the Mango, the Cultural Bar, right under the mango tree. We're going to also check my boy Mikey Slack there at the bakery and the Befront Sister Muffet Slack. Gotta touch them up as well, you know. So as we come to a close with the program, I also want to say good night to my boy there, the man Elvan Ellie. Hope all is well with you and the wife. Good evening. My boy Alvan Brown. How are you doing, my brother? I hope you're keeping the flames burning there in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I want to touch my cousin there, Jerry, over there in the UK. Sister there, Jennifer, Sylvia, brother Clive, the man Jermaine, Janet, and crew. Hope all is well with you guys there. Sister Charlene, Daniel. I understand you guys having an event there in Birmingham for the elderly, for the seniors on Friday. I want to congratulate you guys on your continued efforts to give back to the seniors, to the elderly there in Birmingham. The St. Kitts Nevis organization based there in the Birmingham area. Whenever I am in England, those folks make me feel like a king. They make me feel at home. So I want to wish them continued blessing and what they are doing. There's a young lady there in St. Kitts, I think it's in the Wingfield area. Her name is Jacqueline Weeks. She have been reaching out to me for several weeks now. They're having some issues with the lighting in their area up there. So I hope that the Honorable Congress Maynard or whoever responsible can go and take care of that for the holidays, because, you know, during the holidays is when the crime rates step up. She also reached out to me asking for some support for her church there in the area, and asking that whatever I can contribute to help them out. They're trying to start a little business where they can help the community, help the needy and help the sick. So when I reach across to St. Kitts, I'll try my best to attend church and give her my little support. So if any one of you see the need that you can spare a few bucks that I can drop in the kitty for Jacqueline and her crew at the church, feel free to just send it across. I'll be happy to give it in this regard. I also want to say good evening to Sister Ailu over there at the Run It Bar, there in the Lovers Lane area in Tower. Good evening, hope all is well. Well, I'm going to drop a song right now. Once I drop that track, I'm getting my skates and I'm out of here. So, good evening, Sister Lynn. Hope all is well. Hope you've been listening and enjoy what you hear. Sister Linda, hope all is well with you as well. So, this one is coming from our late great, the King Arrow. This one is called Arise. Bigging up the man DJ Rabuka, the man DJ Ranny Rascal, the man Monarch. Hope all is well with you guys. The man Curtis Crook.
Your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency?
Yes, and that one is a rise by the late great King Arrow. I know my cousin there, brother Ken Bunny in St. Thomas, he loved that one. You know, he just fell in love with that song ever since he'd been listening to this program. Good evening, sir. How is Sister Pam? Hope all is well. I also want to say good evening to my cousin there, the man Twinkie, Albert Morris there, Catherine, Louise, Weezy, Mull. How you guys doing? The man Sugars. Hope all is well with you. Linda Bradshaw, Olivia David, Sister Natalie Carty, DeBasso. I would hope that I please my boy there, the man himself, Ivor Henry. He love a little overtime. He get at least an hour overtime tonight, so he should be pleased with that. First Wednesday in December, you get an overtime, so they should be happy. But Ivor, hope all is well with you and the family and that end. So, like I said, every good thing have to come to an end. So just want to say good night again to Sister Ann Farrell Smith, Sister Gwyneth Marish, I hope all is well, Sister Cora Bennett, keep the faith, hope all is well, and you and Sister Beverly Morrishaw, my baby girl should be home by now. I hope she's not still there waiting on daddy. But if she is, I'll be happy to hang a little bit more with my baby girl. So until such time as we meet again, have a good evening, and I hope to wish everyone happy holidays. Look forward to seeing you folks in the Federation for Sugar Mass 52 and into the new year.